Oh, damn it.
You have to make up a whole list of diseases that you didn't actually have and get like really dramatic with it. Yeah.
Yeah, they came in and they told me I had HIV and AIDS. It was pretty bizarre. Real double baconator of terminal illnesses there.
Like the precursor and the full blown at the same time. They had no idea how that was possible.
Yeah, like we didn't think that was possible, but you figured out a way.
Yeah.
Like HIV progresses into AIDS, but somehow you got both.
You still have both.
Yeah, you must have got HIV twice, and one like was an early
One's
bloomer.
hanging back.
Yeah. One's a late bloomer. Actually, Derek's butthole fell off, and we spent the last 2 weeks looking for it. We couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah. Left it at the bar. Embarrassing, right? Just on a stool, stuck there, all dried out, like a sun-dried tomato.
Yeah, no one even reported it to the bartender because they weren't sure what it was. Yeah. You know, like, bartender's like, I'm sorry. Normally when I see like an old wallet or an old asshole sit on the stool, I put it behind the bar and I save it and I try to find a number to call, but this time, nothing.
Just couldn't go anywhere near it.
Well,
I don't blame him.
The busboy said he saw it, but he thought it was fried calamari. You know what I mean? He was like, I'm not touching this is COVID time. Someone might have had that in their mouth. I'm not touching it. If it was an asshole, fine. But mouth, no.
Yeah, no. Ass to mouth is okay. Yeah, of course.
And then the bartender, unironically said, that little stinker really got under the radar.
That was a real stinky dinker, if you ask me. Real slippery dinker. Now that we're just doing it, I just, listeners, our beloved listeners, all nine
Lend
of
me
you.
your ears.
Lend me your ears. We took off 2 weeks, not because we're slacking. We took off 2 weeks because I was in the hospital for something that's totally done, totally okay now. Everything's good. We're looking good. We're feeling good. So I apologize personally. You can hang me by my entrails and parade my corpse in the street.
Yeah, you don't have to apologize.
But happy to be back, happy to be here. And now next weekend, I'm going to be having my kids. So,
hey, surprise. Congratulations also.
Yeah, very excited, very excited. So I think that we're going to do like an early episode this week or something. We didn't figure out all the details so that we're not missing yet another episode. But that's why we missed a couple weeks there.
And look, I mean, we don't, even if we got paid to do this, it still wouldn't matter because life gets in the way. So, I mean, literally, we recorded episode 30, and the day after is when you went in the hospital, like the day after that night. And we were very concerned about Derek. And obviously, we were like, who gives a shit about a podcast episode when one of our friends is in the hospital? And then, of course, they're about to be in Kid City. So that's exciting. Those are exciting times.
Yeah. And of course, the one day, like for months, I've been looking forward to Mass Effect Legendary Edition. And the fucking day it comes out, I'm hospitalized for a week. So I didn't even get to play it when I got home. It was a nightmare. It's the worst part about it, really.
Yeah,
was that the worst part about it, or was playing through Mass Effect 1 the worst part about it?
Oh, save it, you son of a bitch! We're very happy to all be back. The three of us got to see each other in person for the first time since we started the podcast yesterday. So we're still all kind of on cloud nine from the peepees that got touched yesterday.
Yeah, and we did touch each other's peepees.
Yeah, we tied him in a knot. It was like a rat king of cock.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
But our guts were in the way, so we couldn't even properly untie it. It was really embarrassing.
Yeah.
Put that on our Twitter bio, the rat king of cock.
People who don't know what a rat king are going to be really confused. It's when there's so many rats covered in filth living in the sewers of London around the time of the Black Plague that they would become entangled. Their tails and their fur become entangled. They become one sentient mass. Have you ever seen Stuck on You with Matt Damon and Greg Kinnear? It's like that, but somehow less endearing than that piece of shit movie was.
Oh shit, that's fantastic. I did get a surprise butt slap from Derek at one point that I was not expecting. And I was talking to my wife, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah, I did it in front of
one of my co-hosts." Yeah, I was like, "Derek just touched my butt."
I just want to say that
I waited until you were in front of her.
I just want to say that the baby shower yesterday was a wonderful time. It was so good to see old friends and to see all of our friends we haven't seen in months. But it was also something that reaffirmed my faith in Pullout Gang. There were so many kids running around and beating the living shit out of each other. I had so many panic
they had
attacks.
like baseball bats and shit. Yeah, it was
or
crazy.
Beating bushes with baseball bats.
Kids terrify me. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I love your son. Chris. Your son was an absolute angel the entire fucking
It's
day.
hilarious.
And I can't wait to meet your baby boy, Derek. I'm sure I'm going to love him as if he is my own son because I'm never having a fucking kid. I am pull out gang for life, boys.
Yeah.
But
Chris's
fine.
son was a dick to me, and it made me like him. He snubbed me like real bad. Chris is like, "Don't you want to say bye?" And he's like, "No," and he just turned around and walked away. I was like,
Yeah,
all right, see ya."
but that's
he's playing hard to
what's
get,
funny
man.
is that Derek's not kidding. He didn't like shake his head or just turn around. He actually said no, and then turned around and walked away.
What a little badass.
In his little baby back bitch ass defense, he played hard as shit yesterday with the kids.
Yeah, he was going.
And he was very tough. I'm surprised he wasn't more of an asshole by the time we left, but he was pretty good. He's an odd kid, and it makes him funny to watch because he just does his own thing most of the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is not podcast conversation. You know what it is? Weirdly calling out your friends who listen because you know they might get a smirk out of being mentioned. So, Matt G, thanks for listening, buddy. Nice
Thanks,
to know
Matt.
you're always paying attention.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate it, Matt.
Appreciate you, Matt.
Welcome. Sorry. Can we also
cutting off during the welcome?
I'm sorry.
I've never.
I'm sorry.
I've never been interrupted.
What have I done?
Historic.
No.
I just also like to give a quick shout out to Brandon C, who I know listens as well. So thank you, buddy.
Yeah. I feel like I should do a shout out now, but I can't think of anyone. So let's just edit.
Let's
it out.
pretend that Peeb listens.
Every word I just said,
Peeb.
just bleep. Yeah,
Christine, right?
Yeah, thanks, Peeb. Yeah, Christine, of course, Christine. Thanks for listening, Christine. Thanks for being patient. We're back at it. We're doing it. Yeah. We're feeling it. We're living it.
And I still believe that Long John secretly listens because he always brings up topics from the podcast like a week later. Yeah.
Yeah, now he's going to offhandedly mention in chat, like, do you guys ever mention your friends' names while you're recording your episodes?
Yeah. No, it's just something I was thinking of.
Yeah, we know what you're doing. You big, beautiful bastard talking my ear off yesterday. It was lovely to see you, too. Anyway... Welcome to the Cynical Nerd. This is episode 31. 31. We are so happy to be back, and we have some things to talk about. We actually kept the doc a little loosey-goosey in Week in Review because a lot of stuff's happened over the last 2 weeks or so, 2.5 weeks. Like Derek was saying, we're going to probably record one early this week so that we have another one out next week. And we didn't want to blow our load this week, just in case it's a quiet couple of days between now and Thursday or whenever we record.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we have a couple of things to dig into. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 main topics. We have more that we actually scooted to next week just to make sure we had next week covered. Some of these main topics, these are a little different than usual. We have not all seen everything in this list for a litany of reasons. One of which is Scott's disdain for Mass Effect. The other is the fact that Scott has a movie pass and the free time to go to the movie theaters to see things like Spiral from the Book of Saw, and Derek and I haven't been able to do that. Yeah. So we're gonna just talk about what we think. I don't care if things from that movie are spoiled. I don't care about horror movie spoilers, like to the max. Don't care. So have fun.
Can't wait.
I will remind you gently that we did establish a moratorium on Mass Effect spoilers, though, a couple months ago, just because I've somehow slipped through the cracks and I don't know how the third one ends to this day. So.
Oh, fancy. I'm still in the middle of the second one.
Me too.
Because, and we'll talk about it, but they put so much content in 2 as opposed to 1. They were just like, oh, you guys like the cast and crew? About 13,000 more of them, and they all have loyalty missions to complete.
It's very true.
Anyway. So let's start off our week in review. This just happened, actually. So Dying Light is a game that came out, 2016, I believe it came out.
Yeah.
It was pretty successful. The developers Techland did a really good job of releasing content on a great release schedule. They had a couple great expansion packs. One of them was vehicle combat based.
Yeah.
They did like a death arena. They have like, even when I logged in to replay it, because spoiler alert, seeing this announcement made me want to play the original. As soon as I logged in, there was community events, literally help contribute to this massive worldwide kill zombies number, which was kind of fun. Just a lot of stuff. So they were kind of lauded for the first one. It's very positive reviews on Steam. And the second one was highly anticipated and got pushed. It was, wow, Jesus, I don't even know when 2 was announced at this point. A while back, more than a year.
It's been about 2 years, I think, at least.
So 2 years?
Yeah.
And they announced it got pushed, but they didn't announce it in the good way, right? It was indefinitely delayed, and we were told that it was not the bad indefinitely delayed, and they still were going to release it, but that the pandemic kind of shifted their priorities. They weren't sure how or when they were going to get to finish it and work on it. So a couple of days ago, we got the official word. It's going to be December 7th of this year. They came back. They honored their promise. I'm very excited. So
I'd like to start off.
You guys, go ahead.
No. By all means, finish. Finish it.
Well,
I can't finish until you do.
Yeah, really.
Well, I was actually right in the middle of saying, so, I reinstalled it and started playing it, but I'm curious to see, we talked loosely about it and sort of like the interest or non-interest in it. And Scott, how'd you feel about that first baby boy?
I absolutely loved it. I could say that on console, the co-op was very, very shoddy. It had a lot of connection issues. I'm not sure if it was hosted peer-to-peer or if that's what it currently is. But I've heard it had a much better multiplayer mode on PC, like a way more what's the word I'm looking for? Stable, way more stable network connections and things like that. I'd also like to applaud them for doing the right fucking thing and saying, we don't know in this time where there's so many uncertainties, we can't give you a date. When it's ready, it'll be released. I wish more companies had the balls to do that because the fan base may have been a little miffed at first, but when they get their hands on this thing, even watching the gameplay trailers, it's well worth the wait, and I'm glad they didn't shove out a half-polished piece of shit. You know what I mean?
An inferior product.
Yeah.
As we'll call it here on the Cynical Nerd podcast. So just before, Derek gives any thoughts, I mean, the multiplayer aspect on PC is such a non-issue that I didn't even know there was an issue on console. I've never had problems with it. I played with one of my buddies Friday night. We played for like 4 hours together. It's hasn't really been a problem.
Can I ask you? Did you ever turn invasions on and let randos come in as a special infected?
No, we did not.
That is the most fun, like horror PvP ever. We have to do it. It's insane.
Okay, I'm down. Derek, how about you? Did you? So I already know your answer because we've talked about it, but I want you to say it for the record.
I do own it. So like, there was this weird like situation where like Veronica's ex, who he used to play video games with, used to hang out in my streams, and like Dying Light came up, and I was like, oh yeah, that sounds cool, like just to be polite, and so he just bought it for me. And like, I'm like, all right, well, I have to.
Oh, that is
like,
weird.
Yeah. So like I have to play this, right? Like I have to install it. I didn't play much of it. Like I want to be fair. I didn't get very far in it. Maybe like 2 hours, 3 hours tops.
Okay.
And it just wasn't for me. It reminded me of that game. I think it was called
Dead Island.
Yeah. And
there's a lot of pieces of it that feel like that. Yeah.
Just a much better version.
Like, yeah. And Dead Island was really like not. I remember when I first started, it's one of those games that you pick it up and you start playing, and for like an hour or two, you're like, holy shit, this game's awesome. Like, this is fun. And then you realize like nothing changes. Nothing about the gameplay is expanded on throughout the entire thing. It's just the same fucking thing again and again and again and again. And so I think maybe because it reminded me of that, I went like, there's really no point putting more time into this. So and that was kind of like where I left off. I uninstalled it and I never touched it again. If you guys are saying that the multiplayer is fun,
oh yeah,
I'm 100% down to, because I know we've been looking for a game to kind of do YouTube videos on. I would be more than willing to do that. That being said, as far as Dying Light 2, I did skim the gameplay trailer that you put in the doc. One thing that's undeniable about this trailer is it looks fucking beautiful. Like, it looks really, really good.
It does.
The gameplay looks like it looks similar to the first one from what I remember of it, but I mean, it's really, the textures are all, and like light particles and everything are super well done. Outside of that, my interest level, I think, is probably a little lower than your guys.
Yeah, that's fair. So, I mean, the thing that immediately stuck out to me was that it's really like, to me, and maybe it's more than that, but to me, it's like the weapon crafting system feels a lot like Dead Island.
Yeah.
Like a lot. Like the stuff will break and you can repair it and you can put stuff together from all this weird duct tape and wires and shit that you find. That feels a lot like Dead Island. But the parkour stuff is, well, obviously what sets it apart, being able to free run the city. And I would say, like, even being a couple hours in myself now, I'm probably like 4 or 5 hours into my revisit, and they make big sweeping changes to how you play the game. Like, the skills you unlock are pretty fantastic, even early on, to like really knock down things like the amount of times you have to repair a weapon, to mundane stuff like that makes things not break as quickly. So therefore you can kind of invest in those weapons with these upgrades like electricity damage and extra bleed damage. to stuff that changes the way you free run around the city. Like, so it gets smoother, obviously, as you get more stamina and, shit like that. And as you get better at it, but it's been such a blast, like revisiting it.
Have you done have you done the bridge mission yet? The bridge mission at night? We have to like go power the bridge back up? No, I just got it.
Ooh. I just got that mission.
Do you remember it or?
Yeah, okay. I do.
Okay.
And I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. I will say that playing a horror game with a buddy tends to make it like just not scary.
That's why you got to play on hard mode, man, where it's like every special infected, like every runner is a real threat. You have to like work as a team to either get away from them or fight them. And nighttime on hard mode, like you obviously like all your skills double up at nighttime. That's your incentive to stay out at night. You could sleep,
right?
But all of your like your parkour and your combat skills, I think they double up or triple up depending on where you are and how dangerous the zone is.
Yeah,
and dude, some of the nighttime missions, man, like some of the things you can do in co-op in that game are just incredible. It's risk and reward, obviously, and there's no permadeath or anything like that. So it's not that much risk, really. But aside from losing a massive chunk of your experience towards your next level, But some of the things that they included these little mini games, like parkour challenges, like where you and your teammates can, in the midst of all this chaos, race to an objective, like halfway across the map, or who can kill the most infected in the time limit, or who can do that. Like they find little ways to make it like competitive, but still, encourage teamwork. Obviously, get the main objectives done, the missions. And I thought that was really cool. As well as like I mentioned the invasion mode. You can turn it on so you can get invaded at nighttime, and a random player who doesn't know who you are, who's just trying to invade people, comes in as a special infected type, and it's essentially a wave defense thing where you have to hunt down his nests and destroy them while using your UV and your guns to kill him. I mean, you have a certain amount of lives and he has a certain amount of lives, and it's kind of like a really cool like a team deathmatch kind of thing where it's like one superpowered zombie who can like leap all over the map like a hunter from Left 4 Dead, and 4 survivors who are shitting their pants because they're severely outgunned by this creature, and you have to like really coordinate and find his positions and find ways to work your way to his nest and destroy his nests so you can beat him. And it's such a unique gameplay mechanic, the way they implemented it, and it doesn't always happen at nighttime, but when it does, once you get a few of those, it makes you want to stay out at night just so you can get another one. It makes you not want to sleep so you can like get that experience again, because when you work as a team and you best that zombie, it's one of the best horror gaming experiences I've ever had.
It's like coming.
Yeah.
Group coming.
Mm-hmm.
All at one time. I mean, right on that zombie.
I haven't done any of the nighttime stuff, but I have seen even in mundane things when you're playing in multiplayer, like there's no climbing a tower to like get the lookout like Assassin's Creed, but there are a couple missions where you have to climb one to like turn on power for somebody or something like that, telecommunications.
Yeah.
And when one of you starts to climb the tower, it'll say "Start challenge," and I can hit the button to start the challenge and be like, "I'll race you to the top, bitch."
Yeah, dude, it's so cool.
Remember when that mechanic like first really became a thing? I think maybe Assassin's Creed was first one to do. It was like, oh, this is really fun, and then it was just like every other game that started doing it. It's like, fucking really? Like, this is just...
let's be honest. By the end of Assassin's Creed, you were like,
you were tired of doing it. Exactly.
Oh, new city. Oh, how many points do I have to go climb and wait for the sweeping 360 view before I can dive 1,000 foot into a bale of hay? Come the fuck on. I know we're suspending disbelief, but like, he's dead, bro. He's fucking dead. The last thing I would say is like, and I know we're spending more time than I expected talking about Dying Light, but all in a secret bid to get Derek to play it. But there's a power substation activation mission where it's like, you activate 2 substations during the day, and then they encourage you to do the last one during the nighttime, which, obviously is super scary. And I would say, like, the game, because you can free run during the day, tends to trivialize zombies, right? The normal ones don't walk very fast. Yeah. There are some special ones who can kind of climb and run after you, like Zack Snyder, Dawn of the Dead style. And then the special types like Left 4 Dead, like the spitters that he was talking about, but they're pretty infrequent, especially this early on. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, nighttime is straight horrifying. You know that feeling, Derek, into like a horror movie where like, or any horror game, I mean, where you get the feeling like something's right behind you. You can hear it. It's right behind you. Imagine that just constantly. at nighttime because there's these nightmare creatures. It's actually terrifying.
Yeah.
But we did the substation mission as a multiplayer mission, and I made the leap over the barbed wire fence and he didn't. And we spent about, 15 minutes while I was watching him just like chest kick zombies through the fence to get extra points because it's nighttime, before he finally stumbled through. And we were kind of like, there's an ability where you can, I don't know what the word is, like, it's not alley-oop, but like where you can run over a zombie, like you jump over them and like, literally jump off their bodies for.
Yeah, they call it.
And we're just like,
that's the Italian plumber.
Oh no! Go ahead, do your voice acting career.
Yahoo! Wahoo!
There wasn't a point to my story. I'm just gonna leave it there because ending the Dying Light story about nighttime play with Super Mario sound is extremely.
Can you do the long jump though?
Okay, okay.
No. Wait, what's the long jump? Is there a different noise?
Oh, wait, is it yippee? Right?
I think it's the Yahoo. I'm not gonna do
it. Yahoo! That's the one. Yahoo! Yeah.
You're like too good at that. It's so weird. What a weird talent to be really, really good at.
I spent like the first month of quarantine 100%ing Mario 64 on all 3 save files of my Switch game.
I thought you were gonna say practicing his voice, just like looking in the mirror.
Yeah. I mean, that's way better.
Every morning in quarantine, I spent at least 30 minutes in the mirror just watching Mario videos.
Couldn't get Luigi down, but I got Mario. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Luigi's still all about hard stairs and real thug life. You know what I mean?
Well, I feel like Luigi's always worried, and Mario's always optimistic. You know what I mean? But then again, Luigi just keeps going into fucking haunted mansions, like, dude, like.
Yeah, let's just stay away from that.
Really.
Shit. What are you doing?
Yeah.
That feels way too deep of an analysis of the relationship.
Fucking Sidney Prescott? Like, you don't learn your fucking lesson the first time? That was a Scream reference.
That's pretty good.
I had the beeps and boops going off in my brain. Like, I recognize enough of that sentence that I should be able to piece this together.
I'm like, Sidney Prescott. Hold up. My penis remembers that name. Okay, so here's a piece of news that I just found today and also am annoyed about. So it's another example of Disney throwing the shit at a wall to see what sticks. Apparently, and don't get me wrong, I love her character. I just don't think that this warrants a solo series. Apparently, I'm going to butcher her name. Denai Guerrera? Sure. Sounds close enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. How do you pronounce it? Okay. Okaya.
Okie dokie.
Okoye. That's right. Okoye. I got it. Yeah,
that took a really long time.
9.
No, see, the problem is I knew how to pronounce it, and then on the spot, totally fucking forgot it. That was a legit stam. I literally said it to myself before we recorded so I wouldn't fuck it up. So Okoye, who is the leader of the Dora Milaje, will be getting her own Black Panther spinoff series on Disney Plus. Well, why though?
All of Disney Plus's like spin-off shit and like series, like I've lost all faith in them. Like,
yeah,
WandaVision started off great and then was just terrible, ended terribly. Like I said, the further away I get from that, I don't think it was okay. I think it was really bad. Falcon and Winter Soldier, mostly bad throughout, with a couple, good spots peppered in there. Bad Batch, like I have no faith whatsoever in Disney Plus at this point. And I agree, the character is great. She's very interesting. She's very well acted. But no. I think it's going to be goofy.
We last left her. She had Zemo passed on to her, right? In Falcon Winter Soldier.
Did she show up?
I don't think she was specifically there, but like I think it's implied that that's where that's who basically.
It was other members of the Dora Milaje. Yeah. I think the last time we saw her on screen, well, obviously it was Endgame. But the last place her character arc left off in Black Panther was she was dating. She was in a relationship with the guy who eventually joined Killmonger, and she had to like fight against him, which I totally forgot until I was like sitting down thinking about her story arc. The guy, he was wearing blue. I forget his name. Wakabi, I think.
He just won a Academy Award, that actor, for Judas and the Black Messiah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Black Panther had a lot of fucking talent, and was a pretty solid movie. However, I will to this day say that it had horrible CGI, and I don't know how they released it in that state.
Yeah.
Very fucking bad.
In you and Ron's Oscar binge, did you watch Judas and the Black Messiah?
We haven't, but we plan to. We actually, all of that
I plan
shit
to
got
as
put
well.
on hold.
It's
as
fucking
well.
fantastic. I think it might.
It looks great.
It might still be on HBO Max. I don't know. It was a limited time, and it was heartbreaking and fucking wonderful at the same time.
Well, it looks excellent, but the one that's really on our like to-do list is not to divert attention away from this show that we all seemingly aren't interested in whatsoever, but Minari, which has Stephen, okay. I think it's Yoon, Glenn from Walking Dead, as everyone calls him. It's about a family that moves to a Korean family that moves to America, and anyway, it looks really good. So that's kind of our next planned one. But Judas and the Black Messiah is on there, and then I think Nomadland is like the last one that we really want to check out. So,
can we just because fuck The Walking Dead, can we refer to Stephen Yeun's past work as Mark Grayson from Invincible from now on?
Yeah. I just hate that people always call him Glenn from The Walking Dead. Like, dude, he's in so many other things. He's a great actor. He's proven himself time and time again, and you fucking people are still calling him Glenn from The Walking Dead. I don't understand it. It's like
because we were so into Invincible like videos or reaction videos or behind the scenes stuff keeps popping up on my YouTube algorithms, and I click on it because the show is fantastic. And it's like I keep getting this reminder of how fantastic of a voice acting job he did. When like they're having like the final fight with his dad. I think I just sent something to like the group late last night. Was it you directly or
it was me?
I forget.
Yeah. I didn't see it till this morning.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome for the harassment. It was a video of people reacting to like the train scene. His father forces his head through the oncoming train, and right before they do it, there's a little snippet of the dialogue where he's like, what about mom? Like, did none of it matter? Does her life not matter? And that's right when his father goes, in the grand scheme of things, no. And she starts breaking out crying. And like the inflection in his voice, chef's kiss.
I'm like this close to getting Ron to watch Invincible. She's watching Castlevania with me. We're rewatching it.
Nice.
And I'm like this close to getting her to watch Invincible because she loves good voice acting. And I keep saying that Invincible has literally the best voice acting that I've ever heard in anything in my entire life, I think. So,
high praise.
Have you guys ever seen Mayhem?
We also didn't get Scott's opinion though on the show. So wait, maybe we should. We kind of skipped Scott, so maybe we should time out. Give Scott his platform. Sorry, man.
No, I don't care about anything Disney Plus has. I unsubscribed again after watching The Bad Batch, and I hope I never have to subscribe again. I'm sure I'm gonna have to watch at least a few more shitty Marvel Disney Plus series. To me,
just take my login, fam. Just take
until Mando comes back.
See, my thing is, if any of these shows had long-lasting ramifications that justified their existence, even if I didn't like the character work, even if I didn't, even if I wasn't crazy about certain parts of it, like the writing or the buddy, fuck you, like Rush Hour 2 bullshit that they're still doing, even though they've known each other for fucking almost a decade now, on Falcon Winter Soldier. It's when you take, like, passing the mantle of Captain America is such a big deal. And, like, obviously that occurred in the show. But, like, what we've talked about before, what other long-lasting ramifications did they have? Like, we already had seen Cap hand him the shield, so they created a problem that didn't need to exist to waste time solving that problem and then negating its existence with its conclusion. Because nothing that happened, aside from the power broker, who nobody gives a flying fuck about. Like,
it was also extremely out of character for her. I hated it completely.
Yeah. I don't have any faith that we're gonna see anything of like real consequence happen on any of these Disney Plus shows, because I think they're like you said before, Derek, they're saving their big ropes, their fat ropes for their Phase 4 movies and their next big team up.
Big thick ropes.
Yeah, mad thick ropes. What I would say is, have you guys ever seen Mayhem?
No,
I don't think so.
It's a Stephen Yeun movie. It's essentially like 28 Days Later, but they're stuck in an office building. There's a virus that like makes you like kind of like start giving into all of your like most animalistic urges. So there's people just fucking on desks and like murdering each other. They're not eating each other, they're not zombies, but they just have like essentially like the crazies. Like they just start like hacking each other apart with like a fucking like a paper paper.
I
cutter.
remember hearing about this.
It's fucking awesome. It's on Shudder, but also there's the Joe Bob's Brig Last Drive-In show where he watches it, and in between he like gives you little snippets of behind the scenes information. And I recommend watching that version if you still have my login, because it is fantastic. You learn a lot about the making of, and not to mention Steven has a sex scene in this movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you get to see his dick?
No,
if not, I'm not interested.
You get to see them tiny nipples, though. They are tiny.
Oh, great.
They are
like Hershey
so
Kisses.
Yeah.
All right, boys. I don't care about this news. Okoye. There we go. Hey, first time, first try. Will Arnett's Lego Batman. It's my favorite part of that whole movie. I don't know. I was about to go off on a tangent about how much I love the Lego Batman movie. Anyway, that doesn't
really
need to exist. Will Arnett as Batman was just hilarious. And what did he tell? He was beatboxing, and he told Alfred, he was like, ABR, always beat recording. Anyway, we got a couple trailers to talk about. The first one is
I love the random fucking knowledge that you can tap into. Like, it's always the weirdest shit. That's just like
it's all there.
That you can just fucking whoop.
90% of his Batman related.
Yeah,
that's very true.
Yeah,
I'm not even knocking you for it. I'm just stating facts.
I remember he has lobster thermidor. That was his favorite dish. Yeah, I don't know. I've only seen this movie one time. I don't know why it's in there. Fucking just never left.
It's actually incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It lives in my head.
You're like a Batman
free.
savant.
Oh, fuck you fucking piece of shit.
Yes,
I missed that one. I
savant.
missed that one, but I know what you said from his reaction.
Excellent. It's good to have the boys back. We got a couple trailers to talk about. This is the return of M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong, Shyamalan, however we pronounce
I would
it.
say G Night Shyamalan.
G. Night Shyamalan. Okay, cool. He's got a new movie coming out, which I feel like we talked about before.
We did.
I think there was a teaser.
Yeah.
But now the proper trailer has come out, and let me tell you, the proper trailer is not doing any favors for me. So this is a movie coming out July 23rd in theaters. It's called Old. The premise is apparently there is a beach that, I don't know, ages people. And that's horrifying for some reason. And the whole time I'm watching the trailer, you just keep seeing people repeat, and I'm sure there's a reason they can't escape. It seems like something happens to them when they try to leave, but they just keep like diving back in the water.
They keep showing the waves, and there's something in the water that's aging them. Some kind of chemical. Like, I'm gonna predict what the twist of this movie is. Some kind of pharmaceutical chemical spill happened off the shore there from a tanker or something, and the water is what's aging them. They showed the water for like 90% of this fucking trailer. They just kept showing the waves crashing.
And it's going to be, the twist is going to be even dumber, though. It's going to be like the owner of that pharmaceutical company, like, a gypsy woman's watch fell off and he like stepped on it and was like, well, fuck you. And he just kept walking and she cursed him. That's what I guarantee. It's always something dumb. He knows how to cut a trailer and that's it. He's a great cinematographer, but that's all. The writing is always some dog shit reason at the end.
Yeah.
I am so fucking salty over Glass.
Yeah.
That I can't possibly,
I loved Split.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Unbreakable, amazing. Split, amazing.
Split was really good.
But the thing is, like,
Glass was just unforgivable. Just terrible.
M. Night Shyamalan, as Derek refers to him.
Shyamalan.
Shyamalan.
Tomato.
Every once in a while, he knocks it out of the park. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, you get a Sixth Sense or a Split or an Unbreakable. Unbreakable, not his best work, right? But still, like,
was pretty good.
I liked the whole comic book allegory there and how they played into it so well, and I loved Split even more so. The fact that those two were tied together gave me such high hopes for Glass, and fuck that movie.
God, Glass
fuck that movie.
Bad.
Fuck that.
I still haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it? You should. Oh man,
I didn't want to be disappointed. I loved the first when I loved Unbreakable a lot, and when I watched Split and found out it was in the same universe, I got really stoked, as most people did. And then I heard when Glass came out, I saw it was getting pretty middling reviews that were not good. And I was like, I don't know that I want this ruined for me.
I feel like
maybe I'll just live here.
The truly incredible thing about it is that like it maintains throughout a good 70% of the movie that it's pretty all right. Like, it's not great, but it's like, all right, you're interested. You want to know what happens. and somehow in that last quarter of it just bombs harder than it could possibly, like more than you could possibly imagine. It's so bad. You should watch it just so that we can hate something just all together.
Yeah.
Just communal hatred.
I've come to the conclusion that when Sarah Paulson's in something, it's gonna be fucking terrible. Like it might be good at first or like okay at first, but like eventually it's gonna be absolute dog shit.
Right. Her stupid face ruins everything. I agree.
Was she in season 1 of American Horror Story? I don't think she was she?
I don't think so.
She came in season 2, and that's where that shit went off the rails real fucking fast. Aliens and a serial killer named Bloodyface. Fuck you, Sarah Paulson.
Bloodyface.
His name was Robert Paulson, but we all wish it was you instead.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I want my meatloaf back. I want my bitch tits Bob back. I love bitch tits Bob.
Yeah, that's a 20-year-old reference.
The big
That's
moosey, bro. Yeah. Hey, you guys remember when people read Fight Club and for like 10 years didn't know that it was a fucking a dig on like toxic male masculinity?
Oh, I know. They
missed the point entirely. Yeah.
Fucking Chuck Palahniuk is like, fucking guys.
Yeah.
Like,
a gay man writes a book about toxic masculinity, and people are like, yeah, we should burn down all the buildings with the credit card companies. We should make napalm out of shit. Why aren't we doing this? Let's start a band called Project Mayhem.
I guarantee you there's still people that don't understand what it was about.
Oh.
Like 1,000% guarantee you. They're probably still quoting it unironically.
He literally spells out they all have mommy issues. Like they say it verbatim. Yeah. Well, I mean, Brad Pitt says it in so many words, but...
Anyway, so this trailer looks bad.
I am Jack's throbbing hard on.
I actually think the trailer looks good, but that's the thing. All of his trailers look good, but then it's never that good. It's never ever, well, almost never that good.
Yeah.
I will say that when the little girl is one of the first like startles or scares in the trailers, the little girl's swimming, and all of a sudden the little head comes floating by, and it's a dead body. That was very creepy. It was startling,
disturbing.
You know.
Yeah.
And then the trailer was cut well and everything. It actually came off as kind of comical to me because the way the trailer goes is like he can't tell us why they can't leave the beach in the trailer because it ruins it, but they just keep showing these people doing the things they know are going to like age them over and over for not telling us why. So I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
And it spoiled like 4 major character deaths. It's like, okay, no, that person's gonna die now.
At some point, at least. Yeah.
What really like I thought was ridiculous is that the kids come running up and they're like, and the parents are crying and hugging. They're like, "What's wrong?" It's like, oh, so you didn't realize that you're twice the size you were 15 minutes ago? Like, how the fuck do you? I guess.
Mom, what's the problem?
Yeah, I guess.
Like mom.
I guess everything. I guess everything grew, but your little fucking peanut brain, you little shit. Like, how the fuck do you not realize? Like, I have tits and I'm menstruating on the beach now. When did this start?
Yeah, like mommy's eye level. Surprise.
Yeah. like there was no little girl like being confused, or she was just like, well, I mean, she was confused, but she was confused as to why her mother was upset. They didn't show the children being upset at what had happened to them at all, which I think would make for a much more effective, terrifying trailer. Like focus on the kids. Like, we know all the parents are probably gonna fucking die. They're gonna age out first. Spoiler alert. Focus on the children. Focus on them.
That's just how time works, baby.
Yeah.
That's how time works, baby. Not on this beach, Derek.
I hope they don't do something where like time's circular and like the body that comes up is them. You know what I mean? Like some JJ.
Oh, that's what I mean. Like, you just called it.
Some JJ Abrams level. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Or it's like the parents, like that's their mom when she was young or some shit. That's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be real bad. It's always terrible.
Oh, so what you're saying is that M. Night Shyamalan watched Dark and then made this movie.
Yeah, he's like, I could do that too if I wanted to.
No, not shitting you. I could see that scenario happening.
Yeah.
Like, I could see him going, you know what would make a good horror movie? Finding out that, like, your daughter's your mom.
Yeah.
Boom. Let's me write a movie about that.
I mean,
shit.
he said, you know, it would make a good horror movie if the grass killed you. And he did it.
Yeah.
He made that happen.
You know, it would be a great movie if the grass killed Marky Mark. Almost.
Hey, that guy's a piece of shit.
Swing and a miss. The thing is, like,
almost got.
Yeah, the thing is, like, you killed John Leguizamo, who, like, aside from The Pest, which is inarguably problematic at this point in time, but like, Remember that movie?
Well, okay. Yeah, it was made in a different time.
I also want to apologize for using the word problematic to describe John Leguizamo.
You're honestly a piece of shit for that.
Because John Leguizamo is an unproblematic king.
Yeah, hashtag unproblematic king.
You're welcome, Matt. Anyway.
No, but I don't know, man. I know I should hate Mark Wahlberg. I know I should. And a part of me does.
You should.
A part of me does, but I still love some of the movies he's in. That movie he was in with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Oh god, and fucking Anthony Mackie, where they're like the bodybuilders.
Oh, that one you can't name? Yeah, I love that one.
It's fucking good.
Gotcha.
It's fucking great.
I really liked The Fighter, where he was the Boston boxer and what's his name? Christian Bale was his cracked out brother.
Yeah, the only other biggest piece of shit in Hollywood besides Marky Mark.
Yeah,
fair. Well, I mean,
also that is by omission though, because Weinstein's behind bars now. So
fair. I will agree that he seems like he's an asshole. However, they do the thing at the end of The Fighter that they do with a lot of Christian Bale movies, where they show you the guy in real life that Christian Bale is portraying, and holy fuck, does he do a fantastic job of just acting exactly like his stepbrother. It's fucking creepy.
Yeah, Christian Bale's a really great. He really he's a character actor. I wish he would play somebody who died. Just so he can just.
Oh my god. Cold-blooded.
Or somebody who died in the prime of their acting career. I don't know. Just throwing ideas out there.
Just fucking. Go all
Anton
in,
Yelchin, boom.
Oh man, what an age!
Too soon. I know. No. I made myself sad too. I'm sorry.
No, he was a nice guy.
But the thing is, if that death had happened to anybody else, I would laugh about it. But because he was such a precious angel baby, I can't.
He was a honey. I'm sorry, Anton.
He died in a terrible way too. His fucking car went to neutral and hit him. Right?
It just hit him and pinned
crazy
him,
shit.
and he just bled out, and he couldn't reach his phone. He just bled out over 8 hours. Yeah. Just awful.
People tell you the worst way to go, obviously drowning is right up there, but that sounds fucking.
Well, I imagine drowning's probably horrifying for about a minute, and then
it's probably pretty sick.
Yeah, right? You're probably like, oh man, I don't have to pay taxes anymore.
Here.
Yeah,
yeah, but that feeling when you want to breathe and can't is horrifying. So I would imagine that's gonna be a really terrible way.
Well, I did drown when I was a kid, and I can tell you if you're gonna die, I recommend it.
And listen, drowning survivors say that all the time.
Yeah.
That it's actually super fucking. Once you get over that, and you inhale the water.
Yeah.
Super chill.
Man, it's
mad chill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we going right now? Because I don't like it, and I want to move on.
I'm not even kidding though. I did drown when I was a little kid, and I was out for 2 minutes. Pretty dope.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Pretty dope.
Who
did you see anything on the other side, Scott?
No, there is no God. There's no afterlife.
It was just black, right?
My 6-year-old self saw nothing, and at that point, I was an untainted, pure soul.
Right. You should have seen.
I had been baptized.
I mean, that motherfucker should have been offering you a piggyback ride up the steps. You were a young kid.
Yeah,
that's shitty.
Honey.
Yeah, St. Michael should have been throwing me a baseball. You know what I mean? In all fairness, at 6, I probably didn't give a shit about baseball either. I probably didn't even have the heart to fake it.
Right. Maybe God just didn't know how to
as an adult, when I'm at a bar and the Phillies are losing, everyone's like, "Oh fuck!" I'm like, "Oh yeah, fuck!" Just to it's like when that lady lived with gorillas in the Congo for 12 years. You just want to adapt and survive.
Or put it to you this way: is it because God, the supposed God, is supposedly omniscient? He knew the piece of shit you were going to become, and at 6 decided not to even show up. He basically left you at the bus stop with no ride home. You know
what if he snubbed you? He could have showed up and diverted the course or something.
I'm gonna misdirect back to Fight Club and say that God is a kid with a magnifying glass.
Oh,
just scorching ants.
Fair.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
That is such a good book, but still the worst Chuck Palahniuk book. It's the fucking worst one out of all of them.
I never read the book. I never read it.
Don't do it.
I didn't either.
Read Survivor or Haunted or Snuff. Snuff's good.
I gotta tell you a
Stuff's
secret.
about a gangbang and a murder. Fucking read Snuff. Oh man.
I never told Scott this because he was one of those people that did it, and I didn't believe it about Scott, but I felt like, why bring it up anyway? Back in the day when the Fight Club film came out and there were all these people who were talking about the book, I was just like, you pretentious bitch. All these people talking about how they read the book in the scene, and you know who I'm talking about. That's not you. There were a lot of them.
I was also that person because the book was better than the movie.
I know, that's why I didn't bring it up.
But the book,
I don't want him to think I'm talking about him.
But the book still did suck though by comparison to everything else he ever wrote, ever.
And then you know what's funny? The conversation would go, "Oh, the book, blah, blah, blah," and then they would go, "Oh, you should read Choke by him too."
Yeah,
well, Choke was a banger though. Except for the fact that that Chuck always instead of saying cock, he said dog in that book the whole time. I think he was like,
I win.
I think he was like. And this is just a hypothesis. He was like, I can't say cock all the time because people are gonna think, they're gonna think whatever they think. Gay man loves cock. So he would call the dick the hog, and I thought that was way more disturbing than calling it a cock.
Yeah,
that's the worst farm animal to
at
switch
least
cock
with
out
that
for.
much like consistency.
Yeah. I felt her back up on my hog, and I was in, and you're just like.
I might prefer the hug because then you can do weird euphemisms like I don't know, she tickled my pork belly. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think we just discovered that Chris is a literary genius. You should write a letter to Hustler.
Mouth.
Is Hustler still in print or is it just directly on YouPorn now?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I have no idea. I they might have their own like service, like pay some money and see extra hot fake titties. I don't know. I don't know how it goes.
Porn's free on the internet, guys.
Yeah. You pay for it, you're a sucker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very true.
Unless you want to pay for Derek's OnlyFans page. That, my friend, locked behind a paywall.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we haven't talked about
for free.
We haven't talked about old in a while. Oh, I just heard in my head Derek go, oopsie. Uh-oh.
Is that my butthole in front of the camera? Uh-oh.
Oh, God. Yes.
Hey guys, do you think Jello listens to our podcast?
No, probably not.
I just want to take a minute. To say fuck you, Jello. You're a piece of shit.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Fuck you, Jello.
Yeah.
I don't like when people talk about inside jokes when you don't know what it is, and that would be twofold for those listening to the podcast who don't know us in real life. But the pickle bit,
yeah,
was
really
just
good.
juicy.
Yeah.
Good.
So you're all welcome for that. Fuck you.
No, it's okay. It's very easy. It's very simple. Everybody knows I don't like pickles. Everyone. My baby shower was yesterday. And so everyone, all of my friends got me a gift card, but they put it in a jar of pickles. Yeah. It's actually genius.
Right in the jar.
We'll post it to Twitter later. It's
well, you and Nick were like kind about it, but
you and Nick were like nice about it.
Phil Peeb was an animal. He just put it right in the jar. I'm like,
right in the jar. Yeah.
like there's a pandemic, man. Like you can't fucking like. They can't even eat those pickles now.
He was like, I took a picture of the code in case the acidity wipes it off the card.
That's why.
And in his defense, like Jello, who went the furthest, vacuum sealed his. Yeah. The fucking pickle juice got into the vacuum sealing, so like it's still like.
I would like to make a prediction that Jello's gift card was probably the cheapest.
I don't know.
Jesus, Scott. Okay.
I don't know, but I'll let you know now.
Yeah.
Hardcore. All right. So old looks, I don't know, maybe good, maybe not. We'll see. Yeah, next up is, and this is mostly for Scott. I feel like you've talked about the Dexter show before. I never saw the ending of the show because I heard it was absolute dog shit.
Yeah, it's the worst.
And
it's the fucking worst.
I think I stopped watching like maybe a season and a half before the end. It was still pretty good when I stopped, and those are the memories I like to hold on to. There is a Dexter
season
revival coming. That might have been where I stopped, like the end of season 4.
The Trinity Killer was with John Lithgow was one of the best seasons of television.
I remember that.
Like that one season of Dexter is better than all of Game of Thrones combined. Like that one with John Lithgow, like, dude, it's fucking phenomenal. They also had a great season where Colin Hanks played like a religious zealot.
Was he a boy toucher?
No, he was a murderer. But it was great.
Okay. He looks like a boy toucher even in real life.
And there was a very terrible season, but it had Julia Stiles in it.
He's a great guy. I'm just saying he looks like a boy toucher. We can move on.
Well, he also looks like a ventriloquist dummy that grew up and became a man. It's real hard. Like I know like in Orange County he's supposed to be the normal one, but Jack Black looks pretty good compared to that fucking nightmare.
How do you think Tom Hanks talks to his victims? He uses the walking puppet.
Is Colin Hanks Tom Hanks' son?
Yes.
Oh
wait, what? You didn't know that, really?
Well, I know he has like there's like Chaz Hanks who's like.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Chet Hanks. Really, he's like a drug addict. Like he's really bad off. Like Colin's the good boy, and then there's like Chad or Chaz Hanks or something.
Chad Michael.
If you name your son Chad or Chet, like you're asking for
Yeah,
an
expect a
opioid
coke
crisis
addiction.
in your living room.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Oh god damn it! Well, way to go, honey. You fucked up the next 20 years of his life.
Yeah, because he's gonna get teased all through everything. He's just gonna turn to whatever makes the ouchie go bye bye.
Jesus.
Fuck.
What were we even
That's what
talking
it sounds like when a
about?
6-year-old turns to drugs,
Dexter.
right? Yeah. Okay.
Dexter, right. So they announced a revival series to Showtime. It's going to be a 10-episode limited series starring, of course, Michael C. Hall is back as Dexter. It's coming out in 2021. It just says fall of 2021. And they released this little teaser about it. It's not long, a little less than 30 seconds. It might even be 20 seconds of him walking through the small town.
Mm-hmm.
Not even sure where he's at, but he's going by the name Jim Lindsay. People seem to think he's a nice person. He sees some knives. He has a look. The teaser's over. That's the whole teaser.
It's the dumbest teaser that's ever been made.
Fuck this
he
show.
He looks at a knife and
fuck this show.
And then it's done.
Fuck this show. It could be the Claw talking, but fuck this show, right? If you're gonna make another season of Dexter,
no.
If you're gonna make a final season of Dexter, retcon the whole last season. Get rid of everything that happened in the last season and do it again. Bring back, spoiler alert, bring back Deb, because their relationship was weird and complex and incestuous. They were step siblings. He was adopted, but like she's kind of in love with him, and it's a weird, fucked up thing that kind of ruins that whole season for me. On top of that, she dies. He pieces out and leaves his son, him and Rita's son, with this other girl who's a serial killer who tried to like poison him 3 times. It's the dumbest character arc. It betrays the character they built over the course of the 7 preceding seasons or 8 preceding seasons. I forget whether it was 8 or 9 seasons. Dexter Morgan was not a one-dimensional character. He was. I mean. It was all very repetitive, right? It was just him killing pedophiles and child murderers and rapists for 8 seasons. But you see different people challenge him, and you see him like he loves the cat and mouse of it.
Right.
I have a buddy, Nick L. What's up, Nick? I know he listens to this podcast.
Hey, Nick.
Oh
thanks
shit!
for
There's
listening.
all kinds of shout outs today.
He had given me when this first came up. Me and him were talking about it on Facebook, and he had given me like his take on what the final season should have been. And the fact that this guy didn't write for the show instead of whoever the fuck destroyed the final season of it is a crime. There's so much going on. Like I don't know if Lundy was in the show when you watched it. Detective Lundy. He's the older guy that Deb kind of like, since she didn't really know her dad too much, she like kind of like gravitates toward this man who's like 25 years older than her and gray. And you know he has like loose balls, like the guy from Big Daddy. But
I probably don't remember the name, but it sounds familiar. I do remember the Julia Stiles thing. Wasn't she like kind of taken under his wing or something?
Yeah. Well, he helped her get revenge on the guys. There was a serial killer, or not?
Right.
There was
that's right.
There was like a weird like rape club, murder club of these like
she got
wealthy dudes who would kill. Who they would make girls be their like sex trafficked slaves, and then when they finally were done with them, they'd murder them, put them in barrels full of like something to dissolve them, and throw them in the marshlands. And Julia Stiles manages to get away. Dexter finds her after killing somebody who he doesn't even realize is part of the clique. He finds this guy for something else, follows him to where she is, saves her, and then she wants him to take her under his wing and teach her how to do what he does so she can get revenge herself.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, like, not all the arcs were perfect, but this was a show that, like, I mean, it had some pull. Like, it had a huge cult following, and it was very soap opera. It was very repetitive towards the end. It was kind of like, all right, we're beating a dead horse. But at the same time, the ending it got, man, it does a disservice to the entire series as a whole. Like, watching the end almost ruins the first 4 seasons as well. It doesn't, because John Lithgow is a fucking saint. And oh my god, the Trinity Killer season, again, one of the best seasons of television I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm
glad I saw that then before I stopped watching.
I watched like the first season of it, I think maybe season and a half, and then like I just moved and didn't have Showtime anymore or something, and then it was just always became this thing like, oh, I'll pick it back up, and then I just heard it was like a bad ending, so I just never.
When is this?
It's like The Sopranos. Like I want to watch The Sopranos, but I hear it ends so poorly. And now that James Gandolfini is dead, it's like, what's the fucking point in watching it?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. It's not that it ends badly. It's just that it doesn't explain anything. It leaves it on
because they were supposed to make a movie.
Yeah.
But then my boy JG died.
I would say that The Sopranos, regardless, is worth the ride. There's so much.
No, I hear it's so good. I see like stills from it. It looks really good.
There's so much of that show that's absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
I would recommend it.
Speaking of absolutely perfect, that Return of the King image that you made for Derek
is so good.
Really
yeah,
good.
Thank you.
His hair blends so well.
Yeah,
it's pretty
yeah.
Derek.
I got lucky that it coiffed in the perfect direction. I was like, oh man,
absolutely. Yeah. It looks so juicy.
I saw the picture he took and I was like, wait a minute.
I know what I'm doing with that.
Yeah.
Can I just say that Michael C. Hall, though, like, and I think he had brain cancer or something like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
For a dude who had brain cancer and like all this time has passed, holy shit, he aged well. He just like
he looks
kind
good.
of exactly like he did back then.
Michael C. Hall has been a honey for decades. It's insane.
Yeah, he's looking good. Good for you, Mike. Yeah. Keep it up.
I'm not one to start a fire, right? I'm not one to light the kindling, but that's one fire crotch I wouldn't mind huddle up next to for warmth, right?
Sometimes you got it.
I wasn't sure where you'd go with that. It's not the turn I expected.
No. But so, when does this come out?
Fall. It just says fall this year.
Is there any way we can commit to all of us watching Dexter by the time it comes out?
I'll fucking do it.
Yeah, that's an
enough
easy
time.
commitment.
Yeah.
Derek's gonna have lots of like 3-hour intervals of late night to kill coming up soon.
Yeah. I will 100% rewatch as well because goddamn, dude, like some of it hits so perfectly.
Yeah. No, I'll do it. That actually sounds kind of fun. Yeah, I'm into that.
So,
I'll tell you.
Someone go tell Nick to get it on Plex.
Yeah.
If it's not on there.
What I will tell you is that don't be like the first season and a half, like you're still learning a lot about the characters, and they do like a lot of world building there. But once it gets moving, like season 3 and 4, and 5 and 6 and 7.
Like I said, I saw the first season and a half, and I thought it was good. Like I said, like I just was living in a place where I had Showtime, and then like I moved, and I didn't have it anymore, so I just couldn't watch it anymore.
Okay,
but I was into it from the beginning. So
what I will do is, since I'm going to be piggybacking on one of your Disney Pluses, I will subscribe to Showtime.
Oh, very nice. Okay,
problem solved. Yeah, I'll just.
We've been talking about splitting up our subscriptions for like can we like finally fucking do that?
Let's do that.
Let's just like make that happen.
Yeah, for sure. We can do that. Folks. Your take on the revival is actually interesting because I heard a lot of people that were excited about it because the ending was so bad, and they were like, we need a second chance to see these characters off. But unfortunately, like you said, I didn't know that Deb died.
Sorry.
Kind of a bummer. No, it's all right. I mean,
you guys want to watch Dexter after I spoil the fucking ending? I'm so sorry.
The show is
I
old
did
enough.
know that. I heard that happen.
Yeah. The show is old enough that I wouldn't have flamed you for it. But
well, then thank you guys because Mass Effect is even older than that, and Chris isn't spoiling that for me. So thank you very much.
But it feels weird to like. What am I gonna spoil? A spoiler alert. Like everything you suspect about major plot beats is probably accurate because the major that those games are about the character stories. Anyway, I digress.
May I just? I know I'm on a tangent. It's the claws. I'm sorry, but I have
me with it.
I have to say, like in defense of my stance here, it's like. The reason that I'm not excited for this is because you spent, I want to say it was an 8-season run. It may have been 9. You spent 8 or 9 seasons building up this world, and then you crushed it. Now we're supposed to give a fuck about what happens after that? Like the proper
with the shittiest teaser trailer that has ever been shot in the history of mankind.
The conclusion we wanted to see has already been blown. It's like if they went back to Game of Thrones. Everyone that you really gave a fuck about, all those relationships that we spent seasons building are done. But you guys want to see what happens to Bran the Broken now? We'll give you like 8 episodes of Bran the Broken. He's gonna sit in a chair and stare at the fucking wall like he is Hodor. You know what I mean? Like what the fuck? Like there's no. It's they scorch the earth, bro. If you're gonna fix it, redo it. Yeah. Like Michael C. Hall is still a honey.
He's a babe.
Yeah. I forget the name of the actress who plays Deb. I should know it. Like most.
Eyes Too Close Sarah, I think her name is.
Eyes Too Close Sarah, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's Christine something, I think. But the thing is, like, most of them have aged very well. With the exception of like probably Batista, who always looked like just a bag of loose hair, right? Like someone swept up a barbershop and then put a fedora on it. It's not good. I don't know, man. There's so many great characters they spent seasons building up, and they're just they're not going to be a part of this. So what's the point? You know, like how much of this is going to be spent introducing new characters we're supposed to care about, so that the conclusion has like something, you know what I mean, like something to be like a big twist, and it's wasted airtime because everyone we cared about and loved on that show, he left in Miami or is no longer with us because they passed away.
Yeah.
So it's pointless. Sorry.
Fair. All right, no, you're good. I thought that you were gonna have a lot to say on it because we've touched on Dexter for some reason or another before, and I know that you had very specific and strong feelings about how the show ended. So that's what I expected. And like I said, we kept a lower roster of topics this week. So hey, you're just eating up time over there with the complaints, and I love it. You're helping us in multiple ways. Okay, so Dexter revival trailer. The next up is the next shot across the bow in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So we really have two...
Or across the back, maybe, right?
Yeah. Fat Tony always finishes on the back. So...
That's where he puts it.
He leaves it on the back, sir?
Yeah, please. Fat Tony always leaves it on the back, okay?
Let me just say that the only reason that I liked this trailer is that it reminded me...
You're picturing Jello coming on someone's back.
Yeah, nobody's gonna think that's funny but us, but that's what makes it so funny. Because we'd be like, what?
It's actually quite disgusting.
Yeah,
it's so gross.
Fuck, you really derailed me there. Danny always leaves it on the. That's where he comes, boys.
I'm just picturing like someone squeezing one of those Heinz mayos.
Gross.
On like a pork butt.
His body's just like his arms are gyrating the entire time.
Yeah, he's just like a flailing inflatable tube man.
No,
like when
I don't want it.
When he gets close, he doesn't have to touch it. It just does it on its own. Remember the Super Soakers, like the Super Soaker 2000, where like you had to like wear a fucking shoulder strap to carry the thing around? Imagine if somebody mixed mayonnaise and water in one of those and just hosed down a bunch of girls at a car wash. You know, they're minding their own business. They're just raising money for their cheerleading squad or their softball team or something. Here comes Fat Tony.
Do you think when Fat Tony leaves it on the back, he also gets a little in his own hair?
Oh, gross.
Please
fall
talk
right
about
out,
the
though?
Eternals.
Wouldn't the grease mean it just fell right out though? You wouldn't even have to wash it. Like, it's not like every porn video where it's like, oh no, it's in my hair. It's like
yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
That'll work itself out. Don't worry about it.
Anyway, there are really
Tony leaves
two.
the grease in. Sorry, please.
As far as I know, there are really two big Marvel movies coming out at the end of this year. There's the Eternals, which comes out November 5th, and then there is Spider-Man No Way Home comes out December 17th, which we haven't gotten a trailer for, but given that we've gotten this one now in May, I would imagine we'll probably get Spider-Man within a month or so.
Actually, you're forgetting Black Widow.
Yeah, it's very critical.
Oh no! Can you? I don't know how much work it would be. I don't know how much work it would be to Photoshop tape over the middle of your glasses while you did that, but I might try.
Oh, I can just break them. I'm gonna break them.
No, don't break. The Eternals, starring Angelina Jolie, Selma Hayek. Really, kind of a larger than life cast for a movie like this, but considering the topic, looks so incredibly fucking boring and stupid and things that don't make look. The trailer came out. Some of it looks kind of neat. They have a cool soundtrack behind it. It's this old 50s song, "The End of the World." But they kind of twisted a bit in the trailer. It looks kind of neat. But there's one big problem in the trailer for me, and they literally spell it out for you in the middle of the trailer. They're kind of showing how they're called the Eternals. So spoiler, they've been here since I don't know the dawn of man or the early days of man, and because the Eternals were created by the Celestials. Big fuck off for the nowhere. The big head in space, that was the celestial head. They are these. I don't know how he died, but they're these living forces.
Probably Galactus.
Of the universe.
Retcon.
Probably. So in this trailer, they go, "We helped them. We guided them. We helped them accomplish wonders." And it shows them like literally putting water on the ground to water crops and giving them tools. And they, the accomplish wonders thing feels like a weird shot at like Man of Steel because. I don't know if anybody else felt that or just me as a DC fuckboy, but like
I don't know what the fuck.
What's his name?
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Russell Crowe tells him in the first movie and in, I think, the Justice League Snyder Cut, he's like, you will help them accomplish wonders.
But that's such a generic thing. You know what I mean? Like that's
all right. Well, whatever. Listen, hey, this is where my brain goes. Anyway,
it's like saying everyone who can fly is inspired by Superman.
Hang on, don't well, he was literally the first superhero, so I guess he was the reason that the other.
Then I guess Superman was biting off the Wright brothers style, huh?
Oh no!
Look at that face.
You sure you haven't impregnated anybody? Because you are gearing up the dad jokes there for something.
I mean, they're not puns. They're not puns. So I don't think so.
Is it like Derek's about to be a dad? Like, so by, I don't know, like osmosis or something?
Yeah,
What's the
it's like an infectious
property? Yeah. We're all going to be the baby's going to come. We're all going to be spitting dad jokes like hot fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the quality of the podcast is about to go down significantly.
The question is, are we all going to smoke cigars and drink scotch after your son is born?
I mean, I'm already doing half of that right now.
I don't like cigars.
So.
I don't like cigars, but I feel like we should smoke a cigar and just.
I'm actually drinking an 18-year right now. From Veronica. Just very
you weren't
good.
kidding. She's giving you a send off.
Yeah, she spoiled the fuck out of me this weekend. Yeah, she's just wonderful.
Nice. So what was my point? Right. So they go, we helped them, we guided them, we helped them accomplish wonders. And then the trailer says, but we never interfered.
All right, I'm glad you brought that up. I thought the same thing.
What?
It's like, wait, it's like literally in the same minute. You contradicted yourself.
Just said you guided humanity throughout the ages in subtle ways, but you never interfered. Like, go fuck yourself.
Maybe they meant like in military. You know what I mean? Like throughout the course of our natural history, like our I'm trying to give him some wiggle room on that.
I appreciate you trying to help make sense.
Yeah, I'm trying to be
the
the hopeless optimist because right now you're a salty little butthole. It's like you've been at the Jersey Shore all day swimming in the.
It feels like they're saying like we'll create a river to run right through your city, but if any of the bad guys are beating you up, then don't come to us. That's your problem. It's just not helpful at all. Yeah.
I mean, are you guys both on the same page? Like, fuck this movie.
I'm actually 50-50. Okay. I am.
Yeah, I'm kind of 50-50.
I'm at this point. I realized upon watching this trailer, and these costumes are not even that bad. They're not even as bad as, say, Jupiter's Legacy.
They're generic as hell.
But they look terrible. And I realized that I just hate superhero costumes now. Like, I just hate them. I think they all look bad. But, like, the premise of the movie itself, I'm not mad at. Like, it could be interesting if they elect to do interesting things with it. But this was also like a teaser, so it didn't give you too much. Yeah. So like, but no, I'm actually not fuck this movie. I'm just not like, oh, I can't wait either. I'm kind of like halfway, I guess.
I mean, it's literally so.
I mean, yeah,
there was a movie called Old Guard on Netflix. I don't know if either of you saw it with Charlize Theron. It was like a kind of a sleeper success for them. It was kind of under the radar, and then I heard everyone talking about it, and my wife and I sat down and watched it the other day, and. I don't want to spoil anything for you in case you decide to watch it because it was actually good.
What's it called?
Recommend it. Old Guard. The Old Guard.
Yeah,
okay.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
It's actually pretty decent. It's not going to blow your mind, but it surprised us. But the plot is that she has lived for a long time, without spoiling anything about the story. And I think the idea of people of following a story like this could be pulled off in a very grandiose and epic fashion over the ages. It looks like, even I know it's a trailer, but it looks like some of them have fallen in love with humans along the way and therefore have had to deal with losing them. It's always been one of those good, in my opinion, good, plot devices when you're dealing with someone who can't die, dealing with the mortality of humans. It could be epic and crazy. There's some weird Captain America references in here that I have both caught myself and seen pointed out, and I'm not sure. I kind of got the feeling that they had something to do with the emergence of Steve Rogers in some weird way, because I don't know. I don't want to get into too much crazy theory crafting so early, but like
I know I want. Oh,
they were like, who's going to lead the Avengers now that Iron Man and Steve Rogers?
Well, they called him Captain Rogers specifically, and it that kind of triggered in my head. Like, it felt like they. I don't know. The Erskine kept saying like they didn't know how he made his formula. Like no one else could do it, and he just made it, and then it was never no one could figure it out for a while. And it felt like I don't know. It felt like they might have had something to do with like the.
Are you okay?
The appearance of them.
What did you do?
Oh, good. You good? Is it baby time?
It might be baby time.
No, I doubt it. Scott, how'd you feel about the trailer? Is he? I feel like he's kicking or moving. You want to guess what his name is?
Sorry. Ron cut her
No,
arm,
it's okay.
And I had to.
Oh shit! Is it okay?
She's bleeding profusely. Like she's probably gonna bleed out, but we have to finish the episode.
Wait, what's going on?
Nothing.
She just
cut her arm. I was just making sure she's okay.
We thought it might be baby time.
No, it's not baby time. My boss pulled me into an office on Friday and was like, "Tell Veronica she can't have this kid next week. We really need you." I was like, "Oh,
wait, are you fucking serious?"
She was kidding. She was kidding, but yeah.
Oh, I'd have been like,
I'll brain that bitch. You let me know where she.
Okay. Let's move on from that.
I will take a trip to the Ren Fair. I know it's off season, but I'm pretty sure the flails are still in season. I'll buy the biggest mace I can.
Yeah. It sounds like evidence to be used in a future legal case.
No.
Yeah, it does.
No, when you kill someone with a metal weapon, you just gotta melt it down when you're done.
That's why you just kill him with an icicle.
Yeah. All of us have access.
You just throw it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
All of us have access to a forge.
Yeah. Well, that's why you need like a good sword or an axe, and you kill them, right? And then you just take a take a butane.
First you gotta kill him.
Yeah.
I like the
You take a butane. You take like a welding torch to it, and just singe all the parts that were in somebody, and you're good.
That's how I treat my penis after sex. And then you gotta kill him.
Yeah.
I just like your description of the kill. Scott, how'd you feel about the trailer?
I'm very optimistic about it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like honestly, I just want to see something new. I want to see something I haven't seen before. Same thing with like Shang-Chi. Like I'm just excited to see a new part of the MCU, something like new lore.
Yeah.
I hope they don't retcon anything in a way that like does a disservice to what's already come about. Because I love all three of the Captain America movies. I know you're not.
No, we're on the same page.
Yeah,
I do too.
Yeah. I know Derek's not crazy about Chris Evans as.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Yeah, but your eye said it all.
You had that smug look on your face.
I think the Captain America movies are some of the best in the MCU. Whether you like them as a character or not, the Russo brothers are fantastic directors. Civil War was a masterpiece as an action movie. It was. It's better than any other action movie that's come out, with the exception of like Endgame. I think in the last.
Civil War's been soured for me a bit over the years.
It just hurts.
But anyway, continue about your Eternals breakdown.
Okay. Well, the whole point is I just want to see something new. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah.
Most of. Let's be honest here. Like I'm not really excited for an Ant-Man sequel. The first one was fun. I love Paul Rudd, but even Paul Rudd could barely carry the second one.
Yeah, but that name is selling it for you, right? Quantum Mania is really getting your engines.
I'm really stoked to see.
How could you not be excited?
Really stoked to see Kang the Conqueror in physical form, even though I don't give a fuck about that character. I don't know, man. It feels to me like most of the MCU already shot its load with Thanos. Like if Endgame was the end of it, I would have been okay with that as of right now. Like honestly,
it should have been. Like
reboot continuity at least. At least say it's rebooted. Like do something weird at the end of Endgame.
The thing is,
and just start it over.
The thing is, I understand like have Kevin Feige go on with Sony to make more Spider-Man movies as like an executive producer, have like a majority of creative control, because Feige has done more for Spider-Man than Sony's done on their own. I think having right,
it's true.
Right, like at that point, like give Spider-Man because Spider-Man's the only property now. Like let's be honest. Like we lost Chadwick. So the future of Black Panther, like it can be an homage, but it's not going to be the same. I understand the need that they want to do something they feel is going to carry on the legacy, because it is important to have that character represented, even if it's another person playing the part in the larger scale of the MCU. But we lost.
He was such a solid character.
Yeah, he was fantastic. We lost Chadwick. We retired Tony. We retired Chris Evans as Captain America. And everything we've gotten since Endgame, with the exception of Spider-Man Far From Home, has felt like a disjointed mess. It felt like there was no point to any of it. And I know they both have been Disney Plus series, with the exception of Spider-Man Far From Home. But I
have a feeling that some of it has felt as disjointed as it has because things got so knocked around with the pandemic. I mean, don't get me wrong. Because of the fact, I think it's the opposite of their intention, but because of the fact that some of their properties are now on Disney Plus, as opposed to just being movies, it makes these things feel like you're off in your own little world for such a long time, and then there's just some kind of small tangential ties to those other things, and it's like, why does it even matter. Like, just let it be its own thing at that point. I'm almost getting back to that point where I'm like, fuck it, just keep it in its own little like alternate universe or some shit. Like, anyway, I mean, like, I digress again.
Well, no, I mean, like, we saw what Netflix did with their own little Marvel, universe.
Charlie Cox's so good.
Dude, Daredevil was fucking incredible. I
baby boy.
I also enjoyed Punisher. I mean, we've been going on forever, but at this point, man, like, it just feels like something new. Like, if they were to reboot the MCU, starting with the Eternals, like starting with the cosmic and starting with the rights to the properties of the X-Men and all that, and having everything on the table from the start, would be the right way to do it. Because, like, any way they introduce all these things now, it feels like a half-assed afterthought. 'Cause if these guys have been here from the beginning, why wouldn't you start at the beginning? You know what I mean? And like,
you're saying the thing I was saving up. Yeah, I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, but because like Endgame again should have been the end. Like it's done. But now you can show us. Now
I was hoping it would be, and then we're like, phase 49. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is exhausting at this point.
It's just it was a perfect ending to that reality. If they want to go, if they want to go into the multiverse,
it was an ending. I'm sorry. Please continue.
You didn't like the cat picks up the Mjolnir. So,
I hated it.
Yeah. So anything you say is null and void. I'm sorry.
I don't think it is. I don't think. No, we've already gone over this. Let's not rehash.
Yeah, we don't need to rehash. I'm stopping it right now, making an executive decision.
All right.
But between the Eternals and Shang-Chi, and this is the point I was going to bring up that Scott, more or less gave the essence of. I'm more excited for Shang-Chi, and I'm more excited for Shang-Chi because it's a new character.
Right.
We don't know a lot about his background. This is in a post-Endgame world. It's just fresh territory. I'm so sick of the "it's been here the whole time" thing, and I can't. This is like the most egregious example of "it's been here the whole time" because they're literally the fucking Eternals, and it's like they wouldn't have showed up to help against Thanos. Like, I know that question is it's like tired at this point because it keeps getting asked every time something happens, but it's like, where the fuck were you? You said you're protecting humanity, and the half of the world got fucking blanked out of existence.
Half of the known universe.
Yeah, and they're gonna come give some bullshit reason in this movie. I know it, or some throwaway line about why they weren't around. And I don't fucking want to hear it. To be honest with you, I just want new shit.
What if the majority of this movie takes place before everything we've seen before, and they all get fucking they all get Rogue One? What if they all die? What if they all get murdered?
That's what I think is going to happen. I think that there's going to be like a disagreement amongst them where some people feel like they should be getting involved in stuff that's important. Kind of what's being set up in Jupiter's Legacy, essentially, where some people are saying like, well, the humans should be left to their own devices, and we push them in the right direction, and now we just hang back and do nothing. And the other half are saying like, no, like we should be out there protecting them and eliminating threats. I think if they went that direction, this is what I mean. This is why I'm like 50-50 on it. If they went that direction, that I would be cool with. There wasn't a whole lot of action in this trailer. It was just a lot of like talking and sort of like disagreements and stuff like that. Like, that's interesting to me, to have basically like a progenitor species who are kind of like not our gods, but you know what I mean? Like they sort of lifted us up out of living in mud huts and shit. Have differences of opinion. I think that could be really interesting. If it's just typical, like you said, they just sat there the whole time in their high chairs and watched Thanos destroy half of everything. That's boring. That's stupid. That's just bad writing. Like, why
they got to be dead?
So they probably all killed each other. That's what I'm thinking. That would be interesting. That would be fun. So we'll see.
Yeah, if it's some kind of like mini condensed, like, I don't want to say Game of Thrones, but like this like a cast of kings and shit like that, where it's all these people with all these powers and they disagree and they have this kind of internal struggle. And it, to Derek's point, that's conveyed in some of the shots where it's like some people think they should get involved and some people think they should stay the fuck out of it. I don't know. It could be good. I just, like I said, the whole like they've been here the whole time thing, it's just really tiresome at this point, and like this is just the worst, the most egregious example.
And
it
just makes you ask questions, like even with Steve Rogers going back in time, it's like 9/11 happened, and you were just like, like you didn't do anything. You just sat there and let. I'm just saying, Steve Rogers let 9/11 happen in canon. He did. Okay.
Oh no!
I mean, he also could have went back in time and killed Hitler and prevented his entire right.
Yeah, but he didn't because he's.
But if he killed Hitler and there was no reason for him to fight Nazis, would he ever become a superhero?
Yeah,
Would-
so
would-
it's all
would-
about
would he
self-preservation
basically-
because he's a piece of shit.
Would he basically,
Just
would he basically
point
put
for
himself?
it.
Would he just be like scrawny Steve Rogers forever and never get no pusai?
Usai. Look, we're not saying on this podcast that Steve Rogers is a piece of shit for letting 9/11 happen.
One of us
but we
is.
are saying
We're asking the hard
that
questions.
we are saying that he was in the Twin Towers on 9/10
No,
and called a pizza
no,
shop and specifically
no.
ordered 2 large planes. And you know,
Oh
Wow. Holy shit.
it's been long enough.
no! Was there a pizza?
Yeah,
Was there a
it
pizza
has.
shop
I agree.
in either of the towers?
I mean, there had to be a Sparrows, right? They're fucking everywhere in New York.
Somebody Google that so we can find out if that joke's not only horrific but also accurate.
I don't think I want to know the
Was there a
answers.
Sparrows in the Twin Towers before the attacks?
As opposed to after the
Google's like,
attacks.
what the fuck?
Yeah, like
Yeah, they might have popped
Freedom
one up.
Tower
Who
1
knows?
definitely has a Sbarro's in it.
Yeah, one of the main sponsors of the build.
Oh no!
Anyway, boys. Oh no.
Jesus Christ.
Episode 31, 2 large planes.
That's gotta be it. Holy shit!
It's pretty good. I feel like that's the one.
No one will even get it until they get to this horrific joke.
Right.
That's
what makes it so good.
You gotta spell it like as if it is a pizza, though. You can't let them know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you spell it like Nurm, they're gonna know what's up. It's gotta be num num.
2 large planes. Gotcha. Perfect. Okay. We're ready to hop into our main topics. That means pee-pee time?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go grab more
Carl,
claws.
buddy. Oh shit! Because there ain't no laws.
I'm running on fumes, boys. I've been working. Well, I worked 12 hours before we started this.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
You're a crazy boy.
Well, that's what you can do when you get 10 hours of sleep a night. That's why I'm pull out gang, boys.
All right, go get your clothes. All right, boys, thanks for listening to us so far in The Cynical Nerd. I noticed Scott kept his headset on so he could listen to me sneakily and all the things that I say about him. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/The Cynical Nerd. You can find us on Twitter. Once again, got the handle back, boys, at The Cynical Nerd. I'm so happy. It's so much simpler. You can ask us a question on Twitter. With the hashtag AskTCN. You can tell us we were wrong, post a correction, or just tell us you don't like us with the hashtag FuckTCN. You can also email us, and I checked. We don't have any more emails. Slightly disappointed. Questions at thecynicalnerd.com. You can pick up the RSS feed if you want from the website to put in your favorite podcasting app, or you can check us out on Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Who the fuck uses iHeartRadio? I've made that joke before. Doesn't matter. Still holds water. Who uses that shit? I'm out of things to say. I need Scott to come back. I don't have any shit to talk about. Wait. We still don't know the name of Derek's soon-to-be-born baby boy, bouncing baby boy. I'm guessing they're going to name him Aragorn. You might be thinking to yourself, who would name their kid after a Lord of the Rings character? Well, I happen to know Derek fairly well at this point, and I think he would. I wouldn't put it past him. I don't think he would go with Frodo, right? You need like a major character. Gandalf's too old. You don't want to put that kind of weight. That's like naming your kid Beatrice. Like you name them like the old person name. It just feels weird, right? So you don't do that. It's got and it wouldn't be Gimli, right? You don't want to curse him with it. Legolas is fine. Legolas. Aragorn's fine. About it. That's all you really want. I mean, you don't want to Boromir. The guy's kind of a cunt. You know what I mean? I'm out of Lord of the Rings people that I can name, so I'm just gonna have to go back to shilling all over again. It's like a repeat button. Oh, thank God!
I put my headphones back on when you were saying Boromir's a cunt. I was like, let's let him put his headphones on.
Yeah. I don't even want to.
So
tell
I put
him
my
to
entire fist. Oh hey.
Hey. No, please. What were you about to say?
How far up to the forearm did you get?
About almost bow deep.
Bow deep.
Yeah,
I don't know why I love that phrase
like-
so much, but I do.
It was like I was trying to help a horse give birth. It was crazy.
Oh, gross.
Derek, would you
You're
say,
like, there's no time for the gloves. I'm going in.
would you say that Boromir's a cunt, Derek? Or would you say that's blasphemy?
I would say that that's blasphemy.
Would you like to tell Chris why that's blasphemy?
Yeah, because he just represented mankind. There was greed, but deep down, far in, there was goodness. That's the whole point. He was representative of humanity, of man as we know it. We do awful things in the name of self-gain, but ultimately we pull through.
The wee ones!
We do... and we do the right thing. Boromir did nothing wrong.
I feel... oh, no.
He was no more tempted than anyone else. Gandalf wouldn't even touch the fucking ring because he knew that he was going to want it for himself, so he never even touched it.
That's what she said. I feel like you just proved the point that I made while you boys were getting stuff, and you have to figure out what I mean by that when you listen back.
Yeah, I went out of range and I couldn't hear you for like a good minute of that. And I came back in at the most controversial part, I believe.
Yeah. Controversial part.
God damn it.
Beat you. We have a couple main topics today. As I said earlier, we have things we've all seen, things some of us have seen, things one of us have seen. I don't know. There's no more ways to put this.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, I had mentioned Ford v Ferrari. We'll knock this out of the way pretty quickly. I think I know what Derek's thoughts are on this. I had mentioned Ford versus Ferrari, which is Matt Damon, Christian Bale, based on a real life story about when Ford decided they needed to beat the ass of Porsche to save their sales, basically. It's really just a story about corporations.
Sounds fun.
I like the movie, though. And much in the same way that I can really get into a good boxing or sports film, even though I don't really care about those things. But if they're acted very well, they can be uplifting, I guess is the right word, or interesting. This is kind of had the same feeling for me. I don't give a shit about cars or racing. I never have. I probably never will. But the movie was just a good movie to me. I really liked it. I think Christian Bale, again, despite our personal opinions on him, I think he's a fantastic actor. I think Matt Damon does a good job. I think a lot of the supporting cast does a good job. What's the guy's name? The guy who plays Shane in Walking Dead. He'll forever be known as the guy who plays Shane in Walking
John
Dead. And also
Bernthal, I think.
Yeah, and also Frank Castle. He's in this movie, not that much, but he's good when he's in it. And I just really like the story. There's a lot of cool story beats to it that are interesting. And then, ultimately, as most of these things do, they end on a kind of a sad boy note. But because Derek has seen it, Derek, how'd you feel about Ford v Ferrari?
So I don't care about cars at all or racing. I literally don't. Like every time a guy thinks that because I'm a guy, he's like, yeah, I put a new i277Z on my converter. I'm like, dude, I have no fucking idea what you're talking about. I don't care about any of that shit, which is why I didn't care about this movie. I didn't care. I never cared to watch it. It had been recommended to me by a couple people over the years. I know it had won an Oscar for, I think, sound editing or something. The last year before they took
Didn't even know that.
Before they took that category out of the Oscars entirely. That being said, I put it on one night. I watched the first 20 minutes and I thought, I'm not going to be into this. This isn't going to be a good movie. And then I forced myself to watch the rest because I wanted to have something to say about it on the show. And it turns out I actually really fucking loved this movie. I mean, I loved this movie. I have to, no, really, I have to give it to you. In fairness, I would have never in my life put this movie on. And clearly the first 20 minutes didn't grab me. So even if I did, I would have stopped then. So if I didn't have some driving force behind, I want to make sure I have, things to say about it on the podcast, I never would have finished it. And that would have been a shame because it really is a good movie. The characters are all really great. There is this sense of sort of corporatism versus the individual, driving force. Basically, they put Matt Damon in charge of this team to beat Ferrari, and he knows what to do.
That's the episode image. Hang on, I gotta write it down. Matt Damon as
a demon. Yeah.
Okay.
He knows how to win this race. He knows how to beat Ferrari. He knows cars. He knows the right people to put in the right places. And Ford, Henry Ford II, just wants to stop him. He wants to bring in these corporate people overseeing him, overseers of the overseers. It's very
they think they know best,
Yeah, it's the individual will versus corporatism. I think was a huge underlying theme of the movie, which they did very well. Christian Bale was excellent in this movie, excellent.
Good,
Matt Damon was good, but Christian Bale was beyond. He was just incredible. And we were talking earlier about how they'll show the person that the actor was sort of emulating at the end, a real life picture. and he really did capture all of his like mannerisms so well.
That's what he's good at. It's like capturing the little things that people do.
Very, very
that
good.
Makes
at that.
you who you are. Yeah.
And so the one thing that this movie did so well that I love when movies do this well is that they the editing and the cinematography basically non-verbally communicates what happens. I didn't know anything about racing, but like without actually having like an exposition thing where, as Scott said a couple episodes ago, Woody Allen just stops and turns towards the camera and explains everything. Like, I understood more about racing than I ever had before. And basically, like, when you have the straightaways and you're coming up on a turn where you have to like downshift to like save your brakes from overheating, and to like, if you're in basically like this chicken race with another guy, like who's going to cut who off, who has to slam on the brakes so that they don't cause like a wipeout. They did all this without explaining anything. Like, none of it was really like, here's what you have to do with this turn. Just with the edits and with the cinematography, they made that all like very, very clear. And I just love when they can communicate non-verbally like that. And this movie did that like to an expert A1 degree. That's kind of all I have to say about it. It was really good. And I mean really, really good. Like, I'd give it like an 8.5 out of 10. And again, I never would have watched this movie. Never. If I didn't have some like fire under my ass to do so. And it was good. It was a great movie. That's it.
It makes me very excited.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm happy at least one of you watched it.
Yeah, I would rather.
I can see that you're like your chub is like just like rising. You're like tucking it under your belt. So that
it's a little uncomfortable now because I'm like, shit. Well, I can't rub one out while we're recording, but I really want to.
I would rather live stream a colonoscopy on Twitch than watch this movie.
You should do that though.
Can you? Yeah.
Probably not.
What are we pulling out?
I mean, it's a medical procedure. Like, I think if the camera's inside your butthole, you can do that. You can't show the actual outside beehole.
Yeah.
That's fine. Do it.
I'll do it. Like, I'll perform that. I'll get the snake. I'll put it in there.
You got to leave a surprise in there for the viewers to guess what it is. Like, just like a random action figure or something. Lube it up.
What?
Get it in there.
So we just blur your butthole until the camera gets in.
Yeah, exactly.
It's free reign. We're good to go.
So it looks like you're looking at a galaxy map, but it's flesh colored, and there's a little black center of the universe. It's all blurred out. You can't really tell. We're diving in. I'm telling you.
What do you think? What do you think?
know.
What do you think the inside of a sphincter looks like, Chris?
No, that was the outside. We're looking at your little black pinhole butthole.
Okay.
And we're zooming in, and all of a sudden,
yeah, we're assuming there's a lot of hair that doesn't match your head hair. It's very black.
I'm glad that you watched it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I thought it was a good film, obviously, or I wouldn't have asked.
It was good.
I wouldn't have mentioned it at all. It was just one of those films that I saw, and I thought I didn't expect to like this as much as I did. And Scott, since you're not going to watch it, it's a little bit of a bittersweet ending. So because of the whole corporatism thing, Ford actually fucks him out of the.
Oh, Chris, I don't care.
No, that's fine. I'm going to tell you anyway. Just for really, it's for the listeners. But if you haven't seen it, spoiling it, so go fuck yourself too. Ford fucks him out of the. We can say anything we want right now. We're free reign. We are free reign right now. What do you want to say?
Scott said that one time he shit into his own hands and there was no sink around, so he just rubbed it in so nobody could tell.
Hot.
Yeah.
Hot.
It's a true story.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay.
I can hear exactly what he said though too. Like Derek has such a distinct bassy voice that like even holding the headphones where I'm not trying not to hear them, I still hear every syllable, the enunciation perfectly.
Anyway, bittersweet ending. We'll move on. Scott, thoughts on Spiral from the Book of Saul? So this is the Scott show because neither Derek nor I have seen it.
How do you guys feel about Chris Rock? Are you a fan of his early stand up, like Bigger and Blacker?
I like his stand up. Yeah.
Yeah, I like his stand up. Yeah.
Well, then you would absolutely love this movie because 90% of the dialogue is Chris Rock doing what Chris Rock does best. No, I'm serious. Like it, not in a bad way. The dialogue didn't feel forced. It didn't feel unnatural, but it's just him being him. He plays a cop, obviously, plays a detective. And he's targeted by a Jigsaw copycat. There's a lot of dirty cops in his precinct. There was a thing they did, like they called it, I think it was Section 9, they called it in the movie. But essentially the cops, because there was such a high volume of crime in the city, the cops had free reign, and there were cops doing terrible things. Like things that clearly crossed the line and broke the law themselves in an attempt to clean up the streets. So this jigsaw copycat is targeting crooked cops, like people who lied on the stands, like people who committed perjury, people who committed murder in cold blood. And if you're a fan of the Saw traps, you're probably not going to like this one as much. There's a few cool like kill gags in it. And I'm going to be honest, I saw the twist coming about 40 minutes before it happened, but I didn't give a fuck. I enjoyed this so much. This is the best Saw since the first Saw. And I know that's not saying much.
Wow.
I know that's not saying much.
Because that was the only good one, and the rest were bad.
Yeah, exactly.
I honestly just didn't expect it because I looked up some of the reviews and they weren't good.
I mean, I'm not saying it's great, but if you're a fan of Chris Rock, if you're a fan of Chris Rock, you're gonna dig the dialogue, the kills. I mean, it's lazy Saw, but it's funny Saw. It's entertaining Saw. It's Saw where you actually connect and care about the characters more than any other Saw's ever given you reason to, because it's Samuel L. Jackson and Chris Rock.
I was going to say, how about Sammy J, dude? Connect with him? Because I have a physical inability to connect with him.
I mean,
anyway.
Samuel L. Jackson, like, he's funny in this. Like, it's a horror comedy to me. I laughed more than I was cringing.
Does he say motherfucker?
He says the N-word a lot.
Oh, okay.
There may have been a motherfucker in there, but what I'll say is, like, and spoiler warning for the listeners, if you haven't seen Spiral yet and you want to, let's say fast forward 5 minutes in the podcast. But how do you even have spoilers, right? Like, there's gonna be a big twist, a big reveal. Essentially, can I just break it all down for you guys? I
don't
I was
care.
gonna say,
like, you can totally, you can just open up. Yeah.
Okay.
I think Derek and I thought we had mentioned it earlier, but if we hadn't, I don't care if you spoil it for me. And honestly, I want to know what it is because I heard it was the most guessable thing in the world.
movie opens with a cop chasing a perp down in the sewers with like a purse snatcher. He wakes up, he gets a jump from behind, wakes up, and he's literally hanging. And I have suspicions that this movie's supposed to take place in Philly, but they couldn't say it takes place in Philly because of how many cops they kill. But you see the Philadelphia skyline. They refer to the police department as the Metro Police the entire time. But it's a fucking Philly movie, boys. You see the Philadelphia skyline. You see City Hall and Broad Street clear as day. On a few of the long shots they do. And they even say that this cop woke up on the L train line.
Oh shit!
With his tongue in a vice, standing teetering on a step stool, right? And the tape tells him he lied under oath. He committed perjury and had innocent people incarcerated. He falsified evidence and did all this stuff. So his option is either to jump off the stool and rip his tongue out at the fucking root, boys, at the root. Like we're talking undead, no lower jaw. Wow, classic. Or to let the L train run him over. Spoiler alert, this motherfucker doesn't have the balls until the train's coming, and he gets liquefied. This guy was one of the few people that was friends with Chris Rock still. Chris Rock character, whose name I don't remember, so Derek's going to have something to say about that. But he's Chris Rock. When you're Chris Rock, you're Chris fucking Rock. I'm sorry. Like, I enjoyed him, but
no, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I enjoyed him so much, but he played himself in this the entire time. He gets a new rookie cop to take under his wing, which is again one of the biggest cliches in any. From 7 to Maniac Cop 1 and 2, it's the same fucking thing in every.
Yeah.
Let
me show you the ropes. It's not as idealistic as they make it seem in the Academy.
I will say though that this movie had at least 4 N-words less than Training Day. At least 4 less.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Under. Okay.
And no King Kong speeches, which was kind of disappointing. But he takes this new top of his class out of the academy under his wing, and their first call is to go look at this dead cop who got his tongue ripped out, and this is a good friend of Chris Rock's. Chris Rock's backstory in this movie is very complicated. He was his old partner. Basically killed a witness and said the witness pulled a gun on him, tried to plant a gun on this guy because the guy had seen a cop doing something that was incriminating, and because of solidarity. The whole movie plays very well as an allegory for police brutality, and for how corrupt the system is. So to see that through the eyes of a black detective, and to see his father, who was a black police chief, Samuel L. Jackson, who also helped orchestrate it all. You could tell that it was written with meaning. You could tell that Chris Rock really, like, what makes this movie good to me is what it has to say. I don't know if you can't call it politically. It's not a political statement. It's a statement about humanity and about racism. It's brilliantly executed in that right. To the very final scene where Samuel L. Jackson is hung up like a fucking puppet being bled dry, and Chris Rock runs in to save him, and he has to either shoot the killer, who I won't reveal who the killer is. He has to either kill the killer, who's someone he knows, or he has to shoot the target to let his father down. So he chooses to shoot the target. Meanwhile, the killer has called into the cops what's going on, and there's a SWAT team coming to like rescue Samuel L. Jackson's character, but it's a dark room and they have lights on him from behind. So these guys barge into the door, and when they do, it starts to trap up again. So Samuel L. Jackson, who had been cut free from his puppet strings, now they're kicking back in, and he gets wound up, and he gets forced to stand up. And he gets forced to lift his arm, which you don't realize until they show the shot, that there's a fucking sawed-off shotgun in his hand. And these white cops kill a black police chief who looks like an armed black man. And the final scene is Chris Rock watching that happen as the killer escapes via elevator. It's like for all of its faults, for how regurgitated the kills are, for how tired the series is, this is the first Saw movie that I felt had something to say since the first one. And again, the first one wasn't a great political statement. It was more about just how much we don't value our own lives until they're on the line, right? Like it's very one dimensional. But you see the heroin addict in the first one where she has to cut the man who's like doped up with heroin open to get a key out to get the mask off her head, because I don't know, man. Yeah. It was very predictable, but it didn't make the final scene. It didn't make the visuals of the final scene any less impactful. Chris Rock was so enjoyable in this. Samuel L. Jackson was as enjoyable as he can be for someone who doesn't like Samuel L. Jackson, and as somebody who's indifferent to Samuel L. Jackson about 90% of the time, unless it's Die Hard with a Vengeance, because that motherfucker slaps in that.
Oh god, he's great.
He really does.
Yeah,
that's
really
before he became Samuel L. Jackson, though.
Zeus,
you know what I mean?
motherfucker! Yeah. Sorry.
The thing is, I don't have a problem with Sammy J, and I absolutely loved him in this. He's not in it a lot, Derek. You can get through it.
You'll make it.
Yeah, you'll make it. But like,
all right, if you say so.
Yeah. But from start to finish, it's just it tears our our system apart, basically. Like everything. It shows examples of corruption that happen every day in every major city in the country, and it's kind of torture porn in a way that gives people who have been victimized by that penance, or not penance, but
yeah.
It's hard to feel bad for the people in the traps. Like in other movies, it was more of a gray area here and there, because not all of them had been murderers. Some of them had just fucked up their own lives. Right. Like the girl who was a cutter and she was stuck in the giant barbed wire room. The first one's that much better with the gray areas, and then after that, the Saw movies kind of jumped the shark because the traps became more repetitive and the people became more bad. Where it became torture porn, like Hostel, where you weren't rooting for them. You had no reason to root for them. They weren't like morally gray people who had messed up their own lives. They had horrifically affected other people, and you're like, fuck you. Yeah, you should die. You hit and ran somebody who was a father of 4. Like now you're gonna get all your arms twisted off like a fucking Stretch Armstrong. But I would give it a big recommend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'll watch it for sure.
Yeah, if we can ever get that up on the Plex, if you know what I mean. Plex. All right.
We are flagrant and blatant in our copyright infringement on the Cynical Nerd podcast.
Yeah, 100%.
No shame.
Welcome to the Cynical Nerd. We have 2 video games to talk about that I think
you wouldn't steal an avocado, would you?
That I think are mostly me and Derek, although I know Scott's going to give some thoughts on the Mass Effect, at least the first one, if not the series as a whole. So
I'm sorry, before we get too far away, Scott, you know that commercial where it's like you wouldn't download a car, and it's like, if I could.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you wouldn't steal an avocado.
Sick.
Like, well, I mean, you already stole it from the migrant workers who made 4 cents to.
Yeah.
force us an hour
If
to
I
pick
was
it.
super hungry and I didn't have any money, I probably would. Yeah.
I mean, what if you ever see somebody stealing food? Don't say a fucking word.
Yeah.
Don't be a snitch. Someone's stealing food. They're probably hungry.
Yeah, I mean, unless it's like 4 Take 5 bars, because who's eating that much chocolate at once for sustenance?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
like,
yeah.
go steal some carrots.
Somebody whose diabetes is going to take them out on their own. You don't need to interfere. Like they'll get what's coming.
Oh, is that the same as like a suicide pact? Like, I've lived too long. Death by candy.
If you see somebody stealing like 5 Take 5 bars, like that's Take 25, man. Like they don't got long.
Yeah.
Oh no! I'm telling
Yeah,
you, the dad
make it a
jokes are
statement.
rubbing off, bro. That was the dad joke extraordinaire right there. Oh, 5 Take 5s is Take 25.
Again, I haven't said a single pun yet, so I'm good.
Yeah,
That's fair,
for
that's
now,
fair.
For now.
Okay, so Mass Effect Legendary Edition. We've internally had discussions about how we should touch more on video games that come out because we all like those things very much. Surprise, most of us stream. Derek up until recently. So Mass Effect Legendary Edition came out, which is literally a remaster of the first 3 games, the original trilogy. They didn't do additional work. In fact, I think there was a couple articles about some of the hilarious bugs that were in the originals were still present, but they did a couple polish up items on Mass Effect 1 to make the UI less unbearable. Otherwise, left all the other unbearable items in it. And we just give general thoughts. I mean, as a whole, I'm right now about halfway through Mass Effect 2. Obviously, no story spoilers. Mass Effect 1, still pretty hard to get through. I mean, as much as they improved the UI, there's still a lot of... That's still a perfect example of a very nascent early stage of a trilogy where they had a lot of big ideas and there was no one there, it felt like, to go, why don't you tame that back a bit? That's a bit of a pain in the ass for people to deal with. So a lot of the pain points of Mass Effect 1 are still pain points in the remaster. As much as the UI has made it what I would deem playable, if you're new to the franchise, you're probably not going to want to touch it. 2 so far has just been a joy, though. Love it. That's also on the back of me earlier saying there's way too many crew members. There is 100%
On the back,
and not only
you mean where Fat Tony
Yeah.
finished. We're
exactly where Fat Tony
leaves it. Yep.
right where Fat Tony leaves it is where no, but there's fucking 13 crew members in 2.
That's too many.
And each one
That
of them
seems like too many.
Each one of them has like a loyalty mission to do to make sure that you're like.
How long are these loyalty missions though? Is it like multiple tiers?
Here's the thing with
No, they're usually just like 1 20 to 30 minute mission per.
Right,
but
so-
there's a lot of characters that do it.
And
for.
all of the quests and side quests in 2 are all like, none of them are like, go here and collect 4 hides.
No,
from
they're all
this
very
monster.
involved.
They're very good. They're
Which is
very
both good
fucking
and bad.
My role in
doing
this,
like
There's a ton of-
my role in this is to
Yeah.
ask all the dumb questions because I know nothing, Jon Snow.
That's
So
fine.
I'm gonna. There we go again. You're right. I might have gotten someone pregnant. I hope not.
Here's my all right, and it's only fair for me to say that I played all of 1, and I'm about, I don't know, a quarter of the way through 2, maybe a third of the way through 2. 1 is inexcusably a fucking terrible game. It's an awful game, and it was irresponsible of BioWare to just like make the graphics better and make the UI a little better and just release it like with all the same bad shitty like the auto cover system is just embarrassing. Dude,
Oh, it's
I got
really bad.
so frustrated so many times that I almost was like, I'm just going to watch a video on this. Like, I'm just going to download a save file that has all the decisions because it's so bad. It's a fucking terrible game. It's a great story, an A1 awesome story trapped in a jail of a fucking just poorly made game.
That's a great
Now, like
analogy.
every great franchise has its stinker, and so Mass Effect just got theirs out with the first one,
Yeah,
which is almost a good
stinky.
thing.
It came out of the gate playing the brown note.
Yeah.
And then it turned into a symphony.
Exactly, it really did though. Here's
A
the thing.
symphony of
so
thoughts?
I finished the first one, and I'm like, let me just start 2, and just to get it started.
I know
like-
what you're gonna say.
And it's literally like just like a breath of fresh air, like you've just been strangled for fucking 10 hours straight, and then they just let go and you just breathe in just this beautiful oxygen rich air. It's such a fucking great game. It's so fucking well made. And they learned from every mistake that they could have learned from Mass Effect 1. They did. They improved on everything
I would
imaginable.
agree.
It's such a fucking good game.
two examples to give Scott to really show you like the differences is that in the first one, you've played a little bit of it, right? So the character screens where you allot points
30 hours.
That's quite a bit. So the character screens where you allot points to them, there's like, I don't know, 8 or 9 fucking traits. In 2, there's like 4.
It's
and
simplified.
the point system is the first rank is 1 point, the second rank is 2 points, the third rank is 3 points. There's only 4 ranks of each move, and then when you get to the end of a skill, you get to specialize it into one of 2 options. It's kind of a neat system. It's way less complicated. In 2, there's no massive amounts of gun collecting. You don't have to go clear out your inventory. You unlock new types of guns that operate slightly differently and just get to choose the model you want to use, which is way fucking better. And I would say the other one that is really like the coup de grace of improvements over the first one is the first one. Combat is incredibly monotonous for a couple reasons. Auto cover is shit,
so bad.
But once you get to a certain point, it's also just kind of easy because everything just dies. It's just, you just pew pew until it's gone. You never have to use your partner's abilities. You never have to touch them really on normal mode at all. In 2, they introduce armor and they introduce shields, and different weapon types work better against those 2 things. So
and
it
different
forces
abilities.
it forces you to switch weapons a lot depending on if they have armor or shields. And it forces you to use your other character's abilities because I'm a Vanguard. I only have biotic and shotgun's it's good against like armor and health. I can't really do a lot against shields. Except for the weapon that I have. So I use my partner's abilities who are really good at shields on cooldown to deal with it. And it makes combat way more involved and way more engrossing and just better by leaps and bounds. And it makes 2 like...
Yeah.
And 3, the combat is even better.
It's so much more strategic. That's what I was going to say. Like with
full of
one, it's like
strategery.
you just show up and you just shoot shit. Everybody has like 12 abilities. 2 is just, it's all just concentrated. It's streamlined. And so it's very, like you said, like, and you get somewhat of a briefing for each mission you go on. And so, like, the one mission I'm doing now, which is one of the DLC missions, which are obviously all lumped in with the Legendary Edition, is all synthetic. Like, I knew going in that it's all robots we're going to be fighting. So I picked Engineer, which is all tech, which is strong against synthetic. So I brought 2 other synthetic people. I knew we were all going to be fighting robots. So, like, that makes us in a high... But it just, like, I kept the same team throughout all of 1. I did Garrus and Rex, just because I put out the most damage. But like in 2, I keep changing it up.
Did you kill Rex?
No, I saved him. No.
Oh, good job.
I saved my honey bear. Yeah.
Somebody pointed out that he's arguably kind of a piece of shit in 1, and I was like, that's true, but for some reason I just love him, and I couldn't let him
he's
die.
Hard not to love. He's such a smart ass. Like, how could you not? I think it's because we're from New England. I think that's what does it. But
That's
no,
totally
it's
fair.
really, it's
that's fair. That's
like you hack into shit. And the thing that I love about 2 is you have this, like, you have like the research stuff where like you unlock research projects, but you need a scientist on your ship first. So as soon as you get him, it's like, do you want a stronger assault weapon? Okay, cool. You just have to put the research points into it. Do you want new armor based on some new alien species that you encountered? Well, if you happen to like grab it while you were on their planet, you can now put it into your research thing. And, you know, as long as you have the resources, you can go do it. Oh, well, I don't have the resources. No big deal. Go to a planet and start mining for resources. You don't even have to land on there like you did in the first one. You just like scan the planet, send probes. The probes come back with those resources. It's like, it's just such a fucking good game. And it's amazing to me that, again, Mass Effect 1, the storyline is great. It's like, it's so good. But it's stuck in this fucking cage of just a terrible gameplay. Like, the gameplay is bad. There's no excusing it.
Yeah.
And then 2 and 3 are just like cornerstones of every subcategory that they employ, like sci-fi, RPG, shooter. Like, they do all of it so well. It's just, again, every series has its stinker.
Yeah.
Mass Effect, it was the first one. And then 2 and 3 are just fucking masterpieces. Granted, I haven't gotten to 3 on Legendary Edition yet, but oh my God, 2 is just, it's like leaving an abusive relationship and just meeting a honey, just a sweetie pie. It's such a fucking good game. I'm having a blast with it. It's amazing.
3 combat's really fun, and the biotic abilities shine really well in 3. I think they did a little bit of an overhaul.
I'm doing Adept in 3 for sure.
But you know, that's really all we have to say about it.
Yeah.
We also wanted to talk about Biomutant, which again I think Derek and I put a little bit of time into. I don't have a lot to say about it. I don't want to dwell on it very long. I read something today that they were going to be putting a patch out to address some of the community feedback, and until they do that, I probably won't touch it again. The combat's fun enough. Kind of Ratchet and Clank meets Breath of the Wild meets kind of Devil May Cry a little bit, right? The gunplay feels kind of Devil May Cry. It's weird.
That's
Scott.
real weird.
The world
it looks like
is,
Nick's furry admin fucking simulator.
It's basically what it is. Yeah.
It is also
they
that,
crowdfunded
though.
it.
Yeah. The world is weird, and I gotta say, it's oddly like both very creative and new, and also not at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like they tell you about the four. I made a really dumb dad joke when I was streaming it, which is that they tell you about there's like these four huge world bosses you got to kill, which is kind of like Breath of the Wild type stuff, but they're all called something Puff. It was like, this is the Mork Puff. I'm not kidding. Yeah. And I was like, okay, this is weird because it feels like it's geared towards kids, but it's clearly not. And then at the end, I was like, what's next? The Hufflepuff. So you're all welcome for that dad joke.
It's the worst thing you ever said.
So here's my biggest gripe, and it's people either like this about the game or they hate it, and I think Derek are firmly on the side of can't fucking stand it, which is that there's a narrator in the game. It's fine. You can turn down the frequency by which he says shit about the world around you. That's not a huge issue. My issue is the dialogue. Because it's an RPG, there's a lot of world building, conversational stuff. And the way it works is that you start a conversation with another weird looking fucking critter, and they'll say something in a language that you don't understand. Mm-hmm. Beeps and bloops, and you literally can't understand what they say.
And then some well-educated English bloke comes in and translates the whole thing for you, like he's David Attenborough, but he's not. He's not David Attenborough. Not even
for every
close.
line.
That's that fucking like that Breath of the Wild bullshit that I fucking hated. Like you have this giant expansive world, but you can't have a single voice actor that can like what?
They do.
I wouldn't even care.
In cutscenes they do, but
I wouldn't.
It's fair.
I wouldn't even care because essentially, right? It doubles the length of every conversation because you have to hear the animal make the thing, and then you have to hear him translate it line by fucking
dialogue is
line.
Forever.
If they didn't just like mute the weird animal noise in the background and let him just fucking talk, that'd be better. But they don't let you do that, and I gotta be honest, I think the world building thinks it's more clever than it is because the concepts are not hard to follow. And it feels like they keep hammering you with the same. And I'm like, I fucking get it. The Tree of Life. Please stop telling me 30 times in conversation because I'm skipping through all of it already. And I'm not even 4 hours in.
I watched you skip through so much conversation the other night.
I'm not going back. I can't go back until they fix it. I just read something today. I meant to send it to you guys where they said like, they saw the community feedback. They're going to put a patch out that addresses narrator stuff, that addresses combat tweaks. I actually like the combat. The combat's pretty fun.
Yeah.
But holy fuck, I can't talk to the character in that game until it's rectified, and if it's not, I'll never touch it again. And that's the entirety of my thoughts on it. Is that interesting enough? Unbearable to play right now for me.
It looks awful.
I thought it looked great. That's what I was gonna. Everything leading up to it. I thought it looked really, really good. I know that they had like a review moratorium on it, which is always a bad sign. Like usually when you know you have a good game, you release it to journos like a week or two early because then they sing its praises and everybody buys it. So sometimes you have people who don't release it until a day or two before, or even worse, until after the game has come out, which means they know they have a stinker and they don't want to discourage people from buying it.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, right? Best case scenario is that they're not sure if it's a good game or not. And that's bad, right? No
so
confidence.
Like leading up, like when they didn't have any journalists like talking about it, I was like, oh, this isn't a good thing. And I think like the day before it released, they had people. And I read a couple that were like middling and low highs, like nothing good though. And I went, okay. But upon playing it, like I'll say this. First of all, it has this quality to it that's like WoW has for me, which I like, which is just like walking around and it's raining and you're going through all this terrain and there's like loot for you to pick up. And
the world looks really cool.
Enemies. Yeah. The world is so well done. And even like just the charm of it is there for me. Like I love that you're this furry critter, right? And anytime you come across a new waypoint, which is your fast travel points, you piss on it. You like mark your territory. That's like a part. I just
weird.
Love that shit though. Like it's
that's pretty
just
funny.
Like it's a good little detail to add to it. The combat is not great, but it's good enough for me. Like I don't mind it. It's
got enough components to it that it can be if you
It
keep
does.
expanding upon it, you're like, okay, cool. You know,
Yeah.
there's the gun, there's the up close melee, there's your special ability.
And you
there's
have
gonna
combos, and then you have like
Right,
the
right.
ultimate combo thing or whatever it's called. All that is great. The storyline, I can already tell, is not good, but the world is interesting enough that I care about it. But your main complaint is also my main complaint, is that like instead of having, all right, this is not a huge studio. The only thing that this studio has ever, the biggest thing they've done is the definitive edition for Darksiders 2, which was a remaster. I mean, the game was already made. They just touched up on it. That's the biggest thing that they're known before this is, and then they did Darksiders 1 as well. But so this is their first big like IP that they've done themselves. So it's not going to be perfect, frankly. But the not like giving voice actors to each person that you're talking to and just having that English guy, like exactly. You listen to their whole like gibberish, like, and then the English guy like translates. It's like, oh my God. And some of those dialogue things take like 10 minutes and nothing interesting is being said. Like you're not learning anything new. That's really like, whoa, like,
Right.
you get it from the beginning. Humans fucking left nuclear waste and then they fucked off. They get off the planet. Like you get it from the first hour of gameplay.
Yeah,
like there's nothing else to really
This
know.
felt like Banjo-Kazooie to me when I like everything I've watched. I've watched Chris stream it. And I've also watched a bunch of like videos. I knew I wasn't gonna play it. I knew I was gonna spend money on it. But I feel like I had to have some shit to talk because I knew I was gonna have some shit to talk.
Yeah.
I watched your mother die, Chris. And
Oh, sad.
no, it wasn't because it was so limp-dicked. Oh, she like
I know.
he could have swam down and grabbed her. She was like 10 feet away.
Yeah. I was bitching
he was
about
just
it.
like,
the whole
Yeah,
time.
it's the fucking Rose and Jack shit all over again. Like, well, he wouldn't have frozen if he would have like moved the fuck over on the door, bitch. Like it's so like artificially like it feels like it was just I don't know, man. It feels disingenuous. Like I thought the combat looked fun, everything I've seen, but the story seems like it's just not there. Like there's
very
nothing.
dumb.
There's this beautiful world that you exist in. The combat looks fluid. I haven't got my hands on it myself personally. I watched a bunch of people playing it. I watched a bunch of videos. I watched Conan O'Brien even play it, for Christ's sake. And it looks like the combat's really fun. But like, what's the point if you're not invested in the world whatsoever?
Yeah.
You know, I think like, there's so many games to do combat well. But it's, again, for me, for like Breath of the Wild, I wasn't invested in the world in that either. It didn't even be a reason to fucking care. And I love Zelda.
Yeah.
But it's
I will say though, I am invested in the world. Like not like I don't care what happens to the world, but it's beautiful and different enough that I'm like, all right, yeah. It has that like I said, that wow factor where you could just walk around and do dumb shit. Like you just feel like you're doing kind of like busy work almost. But there's something like the grind, like is releasing endorphins. That's how I feel about this game. Like I don't mind going from town to town, like looting and grabbing shit. I don't know. That's the only value it has to me.
my thing is, if it was on Game Pass, I would play it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
That's totally fair.
Don't spend $60 on it. Do not.
no, I wouldn't.
No.
But
Yeah, both you and listeners wait until this drops by 50% in price in like 3.5 weeks. Just wait.
Yeah,
'cause it's gonna happen.
that's a great point to make. I played it for free because of a buddy of mine. I go by his Twitter handle. It's or not Twitter handle. His Twitch handle, which is 3Gamers Basement or Evil Element. A real life friend of mine who was nice enough to go, hey, I saw you were talking about streaming it. Like, you want to do a Steam library share so you can play my copy? And I said, fuck yes, because I was not going to spend $60 on it just based off of the reviews that came out ahead of time. I was like, yeah, okay, it sounds like it's got some problems.
But also why? Like, I also like. I feel like the characters models are really fucking weak too, though. If I'm being honest,
They're weird.
like why was your mother's head just green, but the rest of her was a normal color? Like, was her head in the toxic waste? Did she get waterboarded at some point? Like, it's like it to me. It looks like somebody just threw like a Jackson Pollock splatter on a squirrel for like 90% of these characters. They all look like nonsensical. And the thing is, like, I love the Volpira. Like, I think like it doesn't take a lot to make a tiny little woodland creature type character relatable and likable because they're fucking cute. And somehow these characters all made me have like an instinctive like cringe when I looked at them.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, you get to customize your own character to the ends of the earth, so you don't have to make them have stupid, weird fucking discolorations everywhere. but a lot of the NPCs I saw, and a lot of the characters I saw in cutscenes just looked ridiculous. It looked like somebody had started a Skyrim character and not edited it at all. Like they didn't give a fuck how these characters looked. You should care how integral parts of the story. Like if your mother's death is supposed to be a big part of your character's building, like of who your character is emotionally, why does she look silly Willy? I don't fucking get it. I don't fucking get it.
No, I know what you mean. Like I was really struggling.
It took me out of it.
My character looks so unbadass that it's like disconcerting to my brain. Like there's still a meathead part of my brain where I'm like, my character should look cool all the time. And yeah, I agree. But I don't have anything else to say about it. I don't know if there's any parting thoughts before we get into our last
That's pretty much it.
of the day. Although I will say, because you brought up Volpera, which is a fox-looking species from World of Warcraft, my Volpera's name was Roger Ailes, and he had a snake named Tucker Carlson, and I was very proud of that.
Mine's name was Feet Picks, and I love it.
Yeah, that's still the best name ever.
Feet Picks is VIP. No question.
Yeah.
No questions about it. I remember when you told us it was Feet Picks, and we were like, "What the fuck?"
I made him a rogue too, so he's really like sneaky and weird. You know?
All right,
Feet Picks the Volpera rogue.
All right, so last topic of the day is going to be the MODOK show, which we all have actually watched. The entire 10-episode run is on. No,
just 2 for me.
What? I don't know. I didn't mean we've all seen the whole thing.
Okay.
We've all seen some of it. That's all on Hulu now if you want to go check it out. And I think I don't know if I mentioned this before or not, but Seth Green, obviously, we knew that it was inspired by Robot Chicken. Turns out he's an executive producer, so it makes kind of a lot of sense. I have very specific thoughts about this show, and I don't want to blow my load prematurely. I feel like I go first a lot, so I'm going to make Derek go first and ask how he feels about the show.
I'd love to blow my load on this show. I'd love to. I'm glad I'm given this platform to just talk about my thoughts. I'm going to put it like this, though. I'm going to do just like a 3-4 second sort of example of what my face looked like for the entirety of episodes 1 and 2. All right, ready? It's going to be 3, 2, 1.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, it was bad. It was really not a funny show at all. Like there was nothing good about it. I wanted to like it. I feel like what they did is they pulled like the Lego Star Wars holiday special thing where they put all the funny bits in the trailer.
That's a good comparison.
Yeah, like all the funny bits were in that, and then like you're used to those funny bits. So when they happen, they're like, oh yeah, that was in the trailer, but like nothing new actually happens. Granted, I only watched the first 2. And I actually do want to watch more to see. I thought that there was some stuff with episode 2 that was pretty emotional with like his wife, you know. I was like, all right, I should probably give this at least another episode or 2. But man, the show is not funny. Man, it is not a funny show whatsoever. It's like Robot Chicken, except there's just no laughter. There's no emotion. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like Seth Green put his name on it, but he didn't show up for work.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Scott, how'd you feel about it? I'll go lasties here. I'll do lasties.
It hurts me to say that I really didn't like something that Patton Oswalt has done.
Okay.
Because up until this point, with the exception of King of Queens, I've loved everything that Patton Oswalt has done. But let's be fair, though. King of Queens is real bad, though, right? Leah Remini's an absolute jewel of a human being, now that she's not part of the Church of Scientology. But Kevin James just can't stop farting and falling down. Who wants to watch that, right? But this show was completely joyless. Like I laughed at the Iron Man thing where he was like watching the Great British Bake Off. Yeah, but it wasn't like a hearty laugh. It was like a yeah, I know that. Like,
oh my God,
that's what the most it got out of me was one of the nasal exhales. Like that's it. That's all I got.
I appreciated the references like to the greater MCU, like or the greater just Marvel universe in general, not even the MCU. But it's just, I don't know, man. They're doing this whole like grumble thing that they did with Parks and Rec in season 7, where like this company buys them out. It feels like it's something I've seen on TV 20 times in the last 10 years.
Yeah, and
it's like you have serious VA talent on the show. Like you do. Patton Oswalt is not a bad voice actor.
No, not
but
at
it's
all.
just like but it's just like, and again, I've kind of watched the whole series, but like I've only paid attention to the first 2, and the rest were like background noise. I kind of checked out. I'm on this. I'm in the same boat. Like I'm gonna give episodes 3 and 4 another shot. I feel like it deserves that because Patton deserves our respect. He is an omnipotent creator, 90% of the time, 10% of the time being King of Queens with Kevin James and Remedy.
We don't like that.
But he could now be 8 for 10 though, right? Or well, I guess no, it would be 85%, 85, or 87.5. I'm not sure on the math. If you count the specials individually, it gets real complicated.
Right.
They had like that Comedy Central half hour he did. They had another half hour he did that was just on YouTube. It's a mess. I'm a big fan of Patton Oswalt, and I want better for him in this show.
Yeah.
It's really what it comes down to. Like,
I mean, his voice acting isn't the issue, though. It's
not at all.
No. I feel like his voice acting deserves.
It's just not
funny. Better writing. Yeah.
I don't. So first off, we got to ring the bell because all three of us agree on something, and we know that we always point it out when we same page. I don't want to discourage either of the two of you from watching the rest of it because I did not loathe my time watching it. However, the way you two described it is the way I feel about the series as a whole. I never got above a throughout most of the series. It's you know what it is? It's like, it's surprising to me. Robot Chicken's funny, right? But Robot Chicken is literally a gag show. They go from one sketch, like a setup, and some ridiculous thing happens to the next, and it's like blah, 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 blah. This show is like, what if we take that style and try to put a story behind it? And I think it fails fucking miserably doing it. I think that's the biggest problem with the show, is that they try to make you care about him getting his family back and like grumble, which I didn't even put together with the Parks and Rec, kind of similarities, but that's true. And I like halfway through, I was like, I don't care about any of this. I just want funny things to happen because I expected the show to be really fucking funny, and it just wasn't. It's fine. There, like I said, there's some funny, there's some little things here and there, but
overall not great.
Can I break it down for you? Can I tell you what's going on here?
Hey man,
this is a stop motion sitcom.
It is.
Okay, pretty good.
Can you imagine watching Friends with the laugh tracks? If you can't, it's on YouTube. It's not fucking funny when people aren't telling you should be laughing.
It's creepy.
Have you ever watched the Big Bang Theory? All the people, again, to quote Chuck Palahniuk, everyone you hear laughing on TV is dead. Those are all laugh tracks over from the 40s. Think about it. Those people probably wouldn't have even laughed if they were alive still. Like those geriatrics wouldn't find the Big Bang Theory or the Connors or MODOK funny, because they're not. Sitcoms aren't funny. If sitcoms were funny, they wouldn't have to put laugh tracks to tell you what parts are good and what parts aren't. What parts are serious. It's just, and that's the thing, man. Like you said, Robot Chicken was very quick. It was rapid fire.
Yeah.
Even the themed episodes, you get like 20 bits or 30 bits
of random scenarios. Yeah.
Yeah, in a 25. Sometimes they just cut to a robot fucking a trash can. You'd be like, all right, he's really giving it. Really, really pile drive that thing.
Really giving it to that trash can.
Yeah, but it's not. It doesn't work long format like this, and I don't think this has ever been attempted before, with the exception of like Action League Now, and we can all agree.
Oh, what a throwback!
We can all agree Action League Now was not fucking funny. Like Kablam wasn't funny.
I couldn't answer that because it's been so long since I've watched it.
Kablam was geared towards kids. It's hard to, you can't judge it on the same scale. If they were allowed to tell fart and cum jokes on Kablam.
So was All That. But if you go back and watch All That, you'd have to be a fucking waterhead to laugh at PRS Cargo. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but when you watched it as a kid, it was funny. I used to love All That when I was a kid.
Well, I'm glad that your brain filled out and all that fluid's gone, buddy. It was never a good show. Like they put that fucking homophobic guy who's friends with the talented guy from Drake and Josh.
Yeah.
They used to just give him a guitar and be like, I'm Kyle. And he would just like shitty Wayne's World. And like, if you were a kid who hadn't seen SNL, maybe it was passable. But if you had seen SNL, you're like, I know that this is the shitty version of The Good Thing that I've seen when I see.
Yeah, well, if SNL is the good thing in this,
SNL in the '90s was a good thing. SNL in the '90s was the good thing.
Yeah, I gotta give it to him. That's true.
Yeah, we're talking Wayne's World and Opperman and Chris Farley. Oh man, Chris Farley.
We miss you, Chris.
I miss that.
If I could exchange my life for Chris Farley, just so you guys could have enjoyed him for the last 20 years, I would do it.
Well, I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't
It's
trade you for Chris.
Let's be
It's a
real. You watch Black Sheep, you watch Tommy Boy. They're both pretty solid films, right? And then you watch Beverly Hills Ninja, and you realize that the trajectory of the rest of his career was going to be
the same fucking
was going to
movie
be
again
Chris
and again.
Farley doing Chris Farley at slapstick comedy in just a myriad of different environments, and it was going to win because Beverly Hills Ninja wears thin.
Can you imagine Chris Farley being on King of Queens instead of Kevin James though?
Oh,
What
okay.
if Chris Farley living? Because let's be honest, Kevin James is Adam Sandler's less fat, less talented friend,
Yeah,
right? Who
sure.
like took Chris Farley's place, kind of like. I mean, he didn't take his place, but it's like you go to the supermarket, they don't have Raisin Bran. It's like, I guess I'll buy oat bran. It's like the same thing, but it's the fucking generic Walmart brand or generic Target brand.
Yeah.
Kevin James is the generic cereal that helps you shit because you couldn't get the name brand.
I hope
Whereas
that I
Chris
run
Farley
into
went-
Kevin James just somewhere, just in some random place, so I can just like stone face look at him like, if Chris Farley didn't die, your career would have went nowhere, and just turn around and just walk out.
But the thing is like that may be mean, but it's 100%
So true.
accurate. It's so true.
You just diet Chris Farley.
Yeah,
like 10 years after
really.
he
Like,
died.
yeah.
Can I put it to you this way? Dead Chris Farley has made better movies than live Kevin James. Okay, how's that?
I would rather watch Chris Farley's funeral or that that sad song that Adam Sandler wrote about Chris Farley that he did on his SNL performance.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch that on a continuous loop for the entire length of Kevin James's entire like cinematography. Or, what would you call it? It's
Filmology?
Filmography.
Filmography.
Sure.
There we go. Yeah.
One of us was going to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Paul Blart Mall Cop. Come on, bro. Don't tell me that movie wouldn't have been at least bearable if it was Chris Farley farting to fall down, because he would have been like, "Oh, come on!" You know, like fucking like just losing his shit. But he also probably would have like really been genuinely farting. He was a method actor.
I know a lot of
Chris
it.
Farley.
I know like a ton of it.
He always fell down for real though. Chris Farley
Yeah.
always
Because
fell
he
down
was
for
always
real.
on coke and he was uncoordinated.
I was gonna say I know 90% of the
Does
charm.
cocaine make you uncoordinated? Because I feel like he's just a big old roller
No,
coaster.
I
It's
think
like-
it just makes
it's
you
like-
able to take those falls as a big guy
yeah,
and
just
not
don't feel
die.
it. Yeah.
Chris Farley, you ever seen a beach ball that someone kicks at the beach and the wind catches it and moves the other way?
Yeah.
Chris Farley always moved like that beach ball, and I respect it. Like you think it's going one way, and it just teeters the other way entirely.
And I know that Coke is like 90% responsible for the joy of it, but he was the most limber big guy I've ever seen. Like his sketches were just so animated. I fucking loved watching every second of it. I don't know how a conversation about MODOK turned into talking about Chris Farley, but we're really good at that here at the Cynical Nerd.
Yeah. If you ever want to get it really sad, watch Chris Farley's last appearance on SNL, where he is just unbelievably high on coke, just like can't even catch his breath. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. Look, I'm genuinely saying this. If you don't want to be in a bad mood, don't watch it. It's really hard to watch.
Was
it's
he
terrible.
on Weekend Update? Like what was he doing?
I remember
Can you
he
paint
was
me a
just
picture?
no, it wasn't SNL. I'm sorry. He was on Leno, and then he ended up singing this song about being a comedian and how he's just a clown and he's just there to make everyone laugh and nobody takes him seriously.
Oh,
Dude,
no, I've
it's
seen
the
that.
and like
I've
3
seen
months
it.
later, he died. Oh, it's the fucking worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
I've seen that. Is it worse than Jim Henson's funeral?
It might be. It might.
I forgot we all watched that because
Yeah, that was like episode 2. Yeah.
we all
I
fucking
feel like we need to bring it back to more weird shit like that.
Yeah,
We need to get back
true.
to
It's
the
very
heart and
true.
soul of TCN. Like we need to challenge each other to
All right, let's watch
like-
it's Chris Farley's last appearance on Leno before next week.
How,
Let's
how,
watch it.
how long was that? Can we watch it live for the pod and react?
Oh boy.
Can we do a reaction vid
Let's
to
look
it?
into it. Let's see what we've got. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, we spoke all the important bits about MODOK. I think we're good to wrap her up here. Derek, it's so good to have you back. Sincerely.
Good to be back.
Yeah.
You know, again, not without going into details for the people, but, you know, we were worried about you. So it's
Yeah.
nice that you're back and happy and healthy, especially not because of the podcast. We don't matter. Because of the little baby boy you got
Yeah,
coming next
tiny
week.
little
that
baby
we're-
boy. Yeah.
That we're also.
Can you do the name reveal, Derek?
Yeah.
Oh, don't put
Can
him
you-
on the spot.
Can you tell us
It's
the baby boy's name?
Chris Scott Ryle.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah. I'm not gonna fucking tell you. You think I'm gonna wait a week before and they go,
What
yeah,
if
what
he named his son Chris Scott? Like one word, like the Trisket, but Chris Scott.
Chris
Scott.
I like Chris Scott.
Chris Scoot.
Chris Scooter.
Chris Scooter.
Just saying.
Chris
I'm just saying it's not too late. You know, you haven't signed the birth
It's
certificate.
true.
Yet.
Could be like your nicknames, Crease Scooter.
Mm-hmm.
Scooter Crease Ryle probably rolls a little
Scooter
better.
Crease. Oh, I like
Yeah.
Scooter Crease. Scooter Crease sounds like the villain in a Karate Kid knockoff. Like not even
Yeah.
the actual film.
It would be like a rollerblading movie, like a Disney Plus original. Like they,
Yeah.
he'd be
Nobody
the
out
razor
toots the
scooter who hits their
scoot. Like
shins.
that's what he says
Yeah.
right before they take
Yeah.
off.
No one toots the scoot. It's a hell of a catchphrase.
It's like the Scooter McGavin, or the Shooter
Can't
McGavin of the
grease the
Scooter
crease.
world.
No, Scooter McGavin. That's 100% a Happy Madison production for Disney Plus. Where like Shooter McGavin's son, Scooter McGavin,
Oh yeah,
is like the new badass Razor Scooter Pro.
but of the inline skating world, he's terrorizing kids.
No, he rides around on a Razor scooter and just hits them in the shins.
Yeah.
He's a piece
Yeah.
of shit.
Not even himself. Them. He knows that he's perfected it. Fucking asshole.
All right, boys.
Precision douchebaggery.
That's gonna wrap her up for this week.
Quick question. Who do you think
Okay.
lets Shooter McGavin come in them? What does his wife look like in this scenario? Who is the mother of Shooter McGavin's child? Is it the Mr. lady?
No, I
Jesus
don't
Christ
know.
with these like 30-year-old callbacks. Stop. You're aging all of us.
Yeah, I can't do it.
I was like 3 years old when that movie came out.
And already,
No, that's not true. I was like 6.
I was going to say, that doesn't
And
make sense because you're older than me and I.
yeah.
in his head, he was 6. Okay.
Right.
Okay. I don't know the answer to that question. Sure, Mr. Mystic.
I feel like it's Mr. Mista
No.
lady.
I need a real answer, Chris. I need a cement from the Happy Madison verse. Who was impregnated by Shooter McGavin?
Oh, sucks to be you, nerd guy from Grandma's Boy.
Yeah, but it has impregnated.
That well, you don't know. All right.
I'm gonna go with what's his love interest in Waterboy?
Vicky Valancourt.
Yeah, Vicky Valancourt.
Yeah, Vicky Valancourt was definitely taking lots of loads.
Yeah.
Like she's got to be
Yeah.
a mother of 8 by
She-
now.
I've got one
she-
more for
canon.
her right
I
here.
would say I would put on the podcast that Vicky Valancourt would allow Shooter McGavin to give her a fat Tony.
But if he gives her a fat Tony, she can't become
Right.
Well, I
yeah,
mean,
Mama Valancourt.
it happened more
but
than
yeah,
once.
the question: when Vicky Valancourt becomes Mama, does she then become Mama, or is she just Mama? Mama say Shooter McGavin. hold-
Looks like Mama's wrong again.
I almost blacked out. My vision just went blurry for a second because I laughed so hard. Like instantaneously, I got I'm not kidding. I got spots in the corner. Ooh,
Mama say.
They so mad because they got all them teeth and no toothbrush.
Mama say Shooter McGavin got the fast women's.
I got a shit, and you're gonna make me push it out on the stream. Derek, where can we find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at Dr. Gloom MD. That's DRGLOOMMD.
Scott, how about you? Where can we find you?
I am Swirl. You could find me at twitch.tv/.
Pretty good.
Okay. Are you gonna? You can find him at Swearwolf. That's WEARWOLFE. Boom! I got that shit.
Wow.
You can find me. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at TCN Plays. God damn it, Scott, you got me. At TCN Plays. That's gonna wrap up episode 31. 2 large planes, because I haven't forgotten.
2 large planes.
Can you imagine a world where Chris Farley lived and Adam Sandler had a problem? Write us an email. Tell us about that world. Tell us about that alternate reality where
Yeah.
things are a little less tired than they are here.
Yeah, craft like a post-apocalyptic sort of setting wherein Chris Farley lived, but Adam Sandler died.
Yeah,
Or
or maybe
utopian
Norm Macdonald.
society, I don't
Maybe
know.
Norm Macdonald became a box office smash after
Yeah.
Dirty Pork came out.
Tell us about your dystopian comedian.
Tell us
future.
tell us about your Tim Meadows Darkest Timeline theories. Let's just get it out there. Let's fucking. There's a Ladies Man trilogy, much like Austin Powers. Yeah.
And a reminder, this one's going up normal time. Next week's is probably going to go down early because of Baby Ryle popping into the scene.
Baby Ryle.
Fourth podcast host incoming. He's not going to say much for the first, I don't know, couple years.
Yeah.
But he'll be here.
He's just going to scream like an asshole, but he'll be here.
And I think it's going to wrap us up, boys, and I'll see you next week.
See you then.
Later.